Welcome, everybody, to the U.S. Nationals. We'll start things off with our third stage, as there are two more land spots up for grabs. I'm Intero. I'm joined by Kickstar.
Hello.
I hope everybody's had a great week. Now, it wasn't too long ago. In fact, it was only a week ago that we saw both Cloud9 as well as, why am I forgetting the name of the team? Rogue, get spots, joining both Noble and Space Station at the inevitable USN LAN Finals. Now we start things off with two more on the line.
Yeah, so we're still pretty far from finding out who's actually going to secure those two spots, but we've got some pretty exciting matches today. But before we get to that, we can see the whole format for leading up to the finals. As you can see, Stage 1 and Stage 2, as Parker just talked about, will give us our 4 current teams going to the U.S. National Finals. And here we are in Stage 3, trying to figure out who's going to fill those next 2 spots.
And we'll keep trucking along until we hit that the wild card spots in the latter half of October, just before Halloween. So a nice festive treat for everybody, as we'll know the 8 teams that will be competing to be the first Team USA.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to claim that title.
Yeah, I mean, it's a historic first. It's the first time that we're actually seeing the U.S. Nationals come up here. We've seen a huge interest from a lot of teams, not just teams that compete in other leagues, but there's been a number of teams that have been created specifically to compete here, knowing that there's prestige, money, etc., all on the line, and that's been fun to see so far. Tonight, we've got some interesting matchups for you. 2 teams that you might know quite well. Well, there they are on your screen. Starting things off, it's going to be Obey Alliance versus Strength.
Yeah, so pretty exciting match. We talked about it earlier, and you touched on it. This is the sort of thing that comes from an open kind of qualifier tournament style like this, and that's why we could see matchups like Obey versus Strength, where Strength is going to be able to show us what they've got. The second match, though, for the day is Mouse versus Flawless, and Flawless is a team that's been competing for a little bit longer than some of the other teams that are qualifying through the Open. And they have, I think, a decent chance going up against a team as vetted as Mouse.
Yeah, they've competed under a variety of different names before, and Flawless, a lot of this core roster has been together for quite a while. There's some long-standing veterans of Rainbow Six. You know, before they went under Polar Ace for a brief period of time, half that roster was under Powerhouse. Before that, they played way back for Insomniac, if I remember correctly, or Insomnia, which was
that was a long time ago.
That was the team that Holiday Nog played on way back when you, if I believe, were still a competitor at the time. Around when
I think I may have been.
Way up.
I think was Lojax in that team.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was. This is a very dated roster in terms of how long they've been around for. So real vets, and that's one of the things that the U.S. Nationals does, is it allows those teams to get in here and compete and possibly vie for a land spot.
You know, we have a lot of competitors in Rainbow Six Siege that have always been in the shadows, never been able, given an opportunity really to push themselves into the forefront and make a name for themselves. And I think that's what we have today, is an opportunity.
But what we really have today, more than anything, is going to be that Obey and Strength lineup starting things off. Now, a bit of a known quantity versus a team that are still trying to find their footing here on PC. We'll start off with the one that you might know and be a bit more familiarized with. That's Obey Alliance's roster. Bosco, Skies, Adam, Benji, and Man. They compete primarily, for the time being, in Pro League. But here they are, trying again to get one of these spots. They haven't been able to do it over the first 2 stages. Is Stage 3 their time to get this spot? They came so close, but just weren't able to do it before. They fell to Cloud9 in Stage 2 just a week ago.
Yeah, so they haven't been having as much success as I think that they want to. Obey as a team, definitely really skilled. And honestly, in this bracket, I feel like they should be heavily favored going into this match especially. But their recent match history has not been ideal. So this is definitely an opportunity for them to turn things around. Now, they've been looking strong, but their opponents are literally named Strength. So we'll bring them up on your screen. Yardi, Sosa, Cloudstruck, Swerve, Merc, and Odd.
So Yardi and Cloudstruck, Merc, these are a lot of players that have come over from console. They've competed quite a bit in a number of the weekly Go4 tournaments. They are no stranger to this kind of bracket style of system, and they're a team that are still finding their groove, and they've beaten some commendable teams over the past couple weeks. of a variety of people whose names you might know. For example, people such as Yaga, Sweater, Hyper, their group that have been competing in Go 4s, etc. This is a team that has been able to beat them. So here we are now, interested to see what Strength is going to be able to bring to this table here, because they are still a bit of a question mark in regards to what their skill ceiling is as a roster. You know, they are, as I said, a number of them, recent transplants from the consoles over to PC, but that's not exactly a downside, because as easily from Rogue loves to note all the time, there's only one team now that doesn't have an Xbox player on it, and that's SK Gaming in Pro League. And when you've got all these regions now with this high level of competitive play, bringing over console players to PC, it shows you that the transition isn't really that hard.
It's not really that hard, no. And I think it's because a lot of the knowledge in Siege transfers well, and that, of course, is the most important thing in Siege. You know, your gunplay is important, your positioning even more so, but a lot of it comes down to experience. And you can, you know, gather experience on console and transfer it to PC. Interpretation's a little bit different, but it's still the same game.
Yeah, and I mean, you learn that game sense. Aiming is really the biggest thing. Is can you acclimate from, you know, the controller sticks to the mouse and keyboard? That's not always something, because the game is also quite faster on PC than it tends to be on console. It's you know, it's a much more aggressive game, I would say. But every single team so far that will be at the U.S. National Finals has a console player, a formal console player on it. So we have the map ban system for you. Now keep in mind it is a best of 3, so we'll bring it up on your screen here, and then we can go through which maps we will and won't wind up playing on. Obey is a pretty deep map pool. Strength, not exactly certain which maps they tend to be more comfortable on, so I'd imagine we'd probably see the 3 defaults pop up. Oregon, Border, and Consulate tend to be 3 of the highest played. You've also got Coastline there too as the new highest played map, so I'd imagine we'd see some swath of those.
Oregon, Consulate, and Coastline will be our 3 maps for this match. Pretty exciting, and you were definitely right there. Just the very standard fare, nothing surprising whatsoever. Coastline, as you touched on, a very much more popular map as of late in competitive Siege across the board. Making it as the decider is not surprising in this at all. Oregon and Consulate have been staples since the beginning, so we can expect this to be a pretty heated contest, given both teams will be well versed.
These are your traditional maps, right? Like, I mean, a map such as Bank is usually going to be one that, with the way the current map pool works, may not be the most familiar for newer teams. You know, the same thing with Villa in particular. Whereas, yeah, I think you mentioned, Oregon and Consulate have been around since the very beginning. They're staple maps. Coastline has just seen so much play, due in large part to operator bans and site rotation, that it makes an awful lot of sense for these to end up being the maps that we have.
Yeah, so I would always say that for a team like Strength, you want to get to as many of the newer maps as possible, because no matter how you really look at it, you know, even if it's, you know, just a transfer or, you know, experience in competitive play, you're looking at less experience than your opponent right now. Obey's been around for just a little bit longer in the scene that they're in right now, and Strength want to get any kind of edge they can. So I feel like Coastline's definitely going to be good for them, while at the same time I acknowledge the fact that Obey is strong on Coastline. So, you know, as much as you can get to a newer thing to get a little bit of edge, it's not going to be enough.
You think it's one of those things where if you're Strength, you might want to roll with a Coastline, or you want to roll with a Villa and then maybe go to the sites that we don't see all that often, just to try and give yourself that possible leg up of unpredictability?
Yeah, Villa would be the ticket.
Yeah.
That's what I would be looking for right now if I were Strength, but obviously it's not to be.
Obviously not, as we don't see any Villa on the board. Obey has shown weakness as well as strength on a variety of different maps over the course of you know, this roster coming together. So it's gonna be fun to watch. Oregon, as has been noted on a variety of different broadcasts, tends to be a map where good teams go to lose. So we'll see there exactly what can happen on Oregon. Of course, the way that the map plays, it might be one of the few maps that is the most operator ban centric. You can play that so differently. Oregon, with a mirror available, totally different than without. Hard Breachers banned, totally different. And there's so much flexibility with operator bans on that map in particular.
Yeah, you've got Oregon, Clubhouse, probably Bank is up there pretty high, but definitely Oregon's one of the number ones for sure.
Yes.
Overall, though, these maps are, you know, they're not really going to favor either team. They're pretty standard, but all that theory crafting just tucked to the side. We're going to go to a break, and we'll be back shortly.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. We're back with the beginning of Stage 3 of the U.S. Nationals. I'm Intero. I'm joined by Kickstar. And we have, first up, Obey Alliance versus Strength. If you were here before we tossed the break, we got all the map bans down. We're going to be starting on Oregon.
Yep. And then we'll have Consulate for the second map when we get there, and then Coastline for the third once we eventually roll into that.
So we've got everybody in the lobby now. There's been some server issues today, so we've had some difficulty getting everybody connected. It's been an ongoing issue with all Ubisoft servers, if I remember correctly. Troubles with Uplay, etc. So unfortunately, it happens from time to time. No business, and no server tends to be immune from these kind of things. But we've got everybody in now, and we'll launch right into Oregon. Strength, bringing their best against Obey. 2 spots on the line for Stage 3, and we'll start things off with the third stage right here, right now.
So Oregon, as talked about before, going to be heavily influenced by these operator bans. Lion taken out first by Obey, so no big surprise there. He is one of the most commonly banned attackers. Second ban from Strength is going to be Glass. Also not a huge surprise. You know, we haven't really seen one of these ban phases go in any direction that isn't what we're seeing right now in a long time. Usually it's just the same operators every here and there. We probably gonna see a Mira ban. If it's not here, it'll be the next one. Then probably an Echo, Maestro, or you know, they could get a little creative. Maybe a Pulse or a Mute ban would be definitely good on a map like Oregon, but we'll see.
I'm actually very curious to know how you approach this ban, because I'm not sure how much Obey knows about a team like Strength. Do you just go for standard bans? You can't really target ban necessarily because you don't really know the opposing team. I mean,
right.
There's not as much data on Strength as there is other teams that Obey have played, and I mean, for Strength, it's relatively easy because you know habits of Obey. They're easy to find. You can look them up. It doesn't take too much research. So with Obey banning Echo and Lion, that would suggest to me these are just 2 operators that are pretty commonplace for bans. It's going to leave Maestro open, as Mira was the other defender ban. Both hard breachers available. So this definitely looks like with both Echo and Mira banned, at face value, I think you're walking away with what should end up being a pretty attacker-sided thing here, but I mean, it really depends on the way that these defenders play things out. You still have Smoke available, you still have Maestro available, you're likely going to have quite a bit of roam presence. If you're playing upstairs, you're likely going to be bringing possibly a Mute, a Valkyrie, a Legion. If you're playing over in Kitchen or in Tower, you're going to double up on ACOGs, likely bringing a Rook or a Dock as well. So there's still a fighting chance for the defense here, but having both hard breachers on the board and no Mira, that makes it a little bit more challenging for the defense.
Both hard breachers. Man, it's still fresh, isn't it?
I guess saying both hard breachers, because technically Maverick is also a hard breacher.
We've been saying it for so long. It's just...
I mean, technically he is a hard breacher, but he doesn't really breach.
He operates more like a Thatcher than anything, or just like someone who generates opportunities where there weren't any. Anyway, the top floor hold coming out here. You can see we're... got a Mute being played. Mute, a very popular operator on Oregon, but more for his usefulness on the basement defense. On the top floor, he's useful, sure, but not quite as much. I like the so far what we have from the Mute Jammers, though. Good placement from Obey. We also had a Valkyrie 6-pick into a Maestro, which is somewhat interesting. I imagine the Valkyrie is being picked because you gotta have that information, and you fake it out in the expectation that there's going to be an IQ, but it just was not a 6-pick IQ from Strength, so not the case.
So, we are only 30 seconds in, trying to take out these Mute Jammers here. Cloudstruck will be the very first casualty. Adam through the door downstairs. Playing over by Tower, the Jaeger will get kill number 1. Odd inside now, looking up top, trying to figure out if the Jaeger is still somewhere nearby. A nice rotate hole inside the attic. Possibly something that's available for Strength to use if need be, but That's your only set of smokes off the board there for Strength. That's tough. Also, as you mentioned with these mute jammers, there's no Twitch or Thatcher, so there's no real easy way to deny those mute jammers outside of expending possible frag grenades or getting underneath and blowing them up. Yardi taking out Skies. The Maestro, that is a big pick. And a frag grenade is going to get tossed in from Yardi as well. That's going to clear up the mute jammers that were situated over by the closet and going to allow that exothermic charge of Strength to go off, getting them free passage from the closet all the way into Generator.
Now, my man still does have the C4 from below in all likelihood. Yes, he does, and he hasn't been cleared out. He will be droned by AWD, so the information is there, but that does not remove the threat. Bosco, great position to use his gas canisters to delay this round, and you can see my man is actually rotated to the top of white. Adam in the perfect spot to get his second kill, and he will do just that. But as he does, AWD takes out Benji, so it's still even as the push comes in from Buck. That's Yardi. He goes down to Adam. That's the third for the Jaeger in the round. And you can see AWD getting another one for himself as well. 2 versus 2, very tight match. You can see one inside of the Master going into Generator. That's going to be the planter, and he's going to go for it right now. Great positioning right now, but Adam gets a fourth, and Bosco gets the final. So no ace for Adam, but an excellent round overall from Obey, and I'm really impressed by Strength constantly fragging that back.
The long-haired, bearded brute of Adam. Just smashing things open with a nice 4K. At no point did Strength really, at no point did we see Strength really commit droning to anything that was not on site. That's how Adam was essentially allowed to just keep rotating over and over again. He really ran the whole mile. Adam went all the way from rear stage up to tower, back to rear stage, got the kill, rotated to small tower, doing the double tower duty, and then making it back towards site through big window. Ultimately, he ran the gamut, getting, I think, probably as many steps as he could in through that entire map. And at no point did they seem to know where he was. And that's because if you noticed, the way that Strength were using those drones, they were using them on site. And I mean, they had one point where I think it was both Swerve and Odd were both droning the same area, and both those drones get shot out. That's not the perfect use of your drone economy.
There's 2 factors there. First factor, of course, is that Strength were not very focused on clearing out the roamers. A big part of that was that they lost their Jackal early on. That is a huge loss. It was, in fact, the first kill that Adam managed to get of his 4. The second factor is the mute. The mute jammers were able to delay and deny all of the other drones that were attempting to clear out not only the site, but also any potential roam clear, as they were placed above and below. So, good use of utility from Obey, the loss of utility from the Jackal, and that allowed Adam as an individual to just run around and do so much damage that it was something that Strength couldn't recover from. A big thing to note there is that if Adam had not gotten those 4 kills, if he had not been always hitting his opponents from the side, that probably would have been a Strength round. They were fragging out. They were doing a lot of work. They just could not isolate that one roaming Jaeger.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Adam typically feels quite comfortable on this map, and I say that because I vividly remember how he relatively new to the team. Oh no, the Maestro could get caught out here. Merc getting very, very close, and oh, Adam! Oh no, I was just trying to sing your praises, and he gets pulverized as he's still doing setup work up top. 30 seconds in, you're doing setup work. Surprising. Strength got in the building so quickly, and they're going to get a free kill there.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see Strength being so assertive, taking control of tower, droning it out in the prep phase, and then just forcing their players in there. Now they're putting a lot of pressure onto Benji, who's actually going to be caught off guard in all likelihood. But no, it's not to be, as he narrowly avoids death, rotating into Classroom. Nice angle play from AWD, but he's not going to be able to get the final kill onto Benji. He just backs away with a little bit of HP. Skies will take down Merc, but he's taken some damage as well, and so is my man. So currently HP advantage heavily in Strength's favor, and as Cloudstruck takes out my man, it's looking better and better. They are fragging out heavily right now. Still inside of Classroom, it's going to be Benji, and he's just trying to challenge AWD as he pushes into this beating.
This is winnable for either operator. It really just depends on who moves around. All out of concussions for Odd, just with the impact ability for him. He's got Cloudstruck. He's got Cloudstruck downstairs, and Buck not too close either. So you've got 3 members of Strength who are all very far apart. You also saw Swerve, the Thermite, doing a great job throwing in. A double kill from Odd will come out. Skies and Benji will bid adieu inside of Meeting Hall. And Bosco, last man, tasked with trying to stop all this. Pre-fire, but no, it'll miss. And Swerve collecting that final kill. That round fell apart for Obey very, very early on. Way too many bodies, nowhere near the site. Odd capitalizing upon that, and the rest of Strength just needed to roll towards the site, and they rolled in style. Bosco in a 1v4, almost unwinnable.
I gotta say, I really like what I'm seeing from Strength so far. Again, their assertiveness in that round was what allowed them to take it, taking out the Maestro so very early. It's a heavy prep operator. You combine that with the fact that he is just trying to set up the attic, one of the far off-site locations. But apart from that, just ruthless abandon from Strength's strategy. They're just pushing into tower. We've got the drones, we got the information, push it, push it, push it. And again, I really do like to see that.
So we'll go back down to Laundry Supply Room, and we'll see. Can Obey manage to get their setup done a little bit earlier on? I mean, I think you're absolutely correct. Losing that Maestro, you look at Obey's lineup. The Maestro plays a very pivotal role in terms of information, collecting information gathering, and then possible even soft plant denial. That's up there definitely with the smoke of Bosco in doing most of the work for that plant denial, outside of maybe an errant C4 that'll get tossed out. Ultimately, things fell apart so fast there. Meeting Hall control was wrestled away from Obey within seconds. It was 40 seconds in, and we already saw Strength have complete control of Meeting Hall. Outside of that, there wasn't a lot of presence from Obey. They had, what, 2 bodies playing over by Classroom on that main floor? That was it. It was very disjointed from Obey. A bit of sloppiness around the edges there, and Strength, I think, picked up on that. You saw at one point they had 2 bodies pushing inside a meeting with a drone from Swerve coming in, all that information being given. And then Strength just used that to their advantage. They capitalized very, very well.
I think that's the thing that impresses me most so far about Strength, is that they're just forcing out opportunities. They aren't wasting time questioning whether or not they can do something. They are just droning themselves in and pushing. No wasted time on the thought process. And it's working out great for them so far. Right now, they're going to be clearing out tower in an attempt to take the basement once more. They made it work last time, and they are not going to get the same early frags as they did in the previous round. Adam has learned his lesson. Merc goes down, and now Strength are going to have to fight back against the Maestro. And Adam's going to get another one. Easy kill for him. Just waiting at the end of this attic. Is he going to get a third? He's certainly going for it. Odd takes a lot of damage there, and Benji's going to finish him off. So Obey collapsing on this tower push. My man gets another, and it's all up to Cloudstruck.
He's going to see the elbow of Bosco there and try to go for a quick peek around the soft wall, but there will be no more. Obey answering back just as swiftly as we saw from Strength in the previous round. They're all just doubling up. Obey really committing to that roam presence. Almost everybody once again off-site, very heavy fragging potential. Strength barely even made it in the building. So a complete reversal of fortunes here, with Strength making it into the building and taking up almost complete map control within 40 seconds in the previous round. This time, barely even making it through the window. They get to the attic hole that was created by Adam, and, well, they just get gunned down.
Yeah, we could see that experience shining through for Obey and the lack thereof for Strength. It really comes down to the fact that they were unable to adjust their strategy from the previous attempt. You usually cannot repeat 2 against a team, or the same strategy 2 times in a row against a team like Obey. It's not going to work out great for you if you attempt to do so. And that's what we just saw. Kids Dorms, the next site for Obey. And they were successful here the first time around, so the expectations are high. Adam did get a 4K, though, in that round, and I don't expect him to drop a 4K again. I think the thing that we need to see from Strength is their ability to lock down that roam game. If they can do that, if they can force Obey into the site, then they might be able to pull off this round. They also have some really good tools here. You see they've rotated into a Twitch, which will allow them to deal with those Mew Jammers. And they've also brought a Capitao for the smokes instead of a Jackal.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the lineup that Strength used here the very first round, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the Jackal was okay, but I mean, you don't really need a Jackal on Oregon, you know? I mean,
He also just didn't work.
yeah, and I mean, you picked off by Adam as he was just trying to get to that back tower. I mean, your whole purpose is to hunt down roamers, and you get killed by a roamer before you can even get in the building. That's rough.
Speaking of,
Skies with a spawn peak onto Odd. So long, Zofia. We'll see what this Twitch can accomplish along with the Capitao. As you mentioned, the changes to strength schedule, or not schedule. Not schedule. They're roster. Obey here with Vigil on the board. This is once again a very heavy frag lineup from Obey. So Obey are going to be able to play really loose off of sight. Aggression from both sides though. Ash and Operator we don't see all that often. Will be brought out for strength just to give them a little bit more possible flexibility and killing potential, which is going to be needed now that the Zofia is down.
yeah, I mean, the nature of the United States players usually is that you have them be a little bit more on the fragger side of things than some other regions, like Europe, for example. And it takes refinement and time for that to get, ironed out. And I think at the beginning of the match, Obey were attempting to use their experience, their refinement in this match, but they seem to have shifted just a little bit to the frag mentality after losing that second round. And it's definitely working out for them. Of course, it did work out for them in the first round as well. Just Adam going crazy. Interesting here that Yardy's able to push his way into Generator with no contention. He will back off, so he's not committing fully to this push. But just looking for an opportunity. Potentially could have had one. It's now lost, as you can see Sky's going to relocate.
Doesn't look like any droning going on right now on the board for strength. Adam on a rotate trying to come in through Attic. You'll see the Mute taking a little bit of damage, but Skies will tag in. He's also lost a little bit of damage, or a little bit of health. Yardy finds my man, so that push that Obey had on the stairs will need to be able to get back to sight a little closer. Bosco gets dropped from Yardy. That F2 will chew through just about anything. Yardy finds a third on the Skies. That F2 is just going wild. Benji and Adam now tasked with carrying the load. Yardy gets his fourth, looking for them all. Adam stands in the way, and Yardy with the ace! He'll take them all down. Nobody from Obey can stop Yardy with the wonderful SK skin on the F2. That'll be strength, evening it out, 2-2.
Great job there to Yardy. And honestly, this match, Parker, it's I don't want to say devolving, but it is coming down to pure fragging power. That is certainly what we're witnessing right now, because the strategy being used by Strength so far on the attack is about as basic as it comes. It's efficiently executed, and I have to commend them for that. But the main thing that's allowing Strength to take rounds, and Obey alike, fragging power. Who's getting the kills? Where are they happening? Who are they happening onto? So far, that has been the entire deciding factor throughout this match, and we will go to Kids Dorms once more for Obey. This is their last defensive round, and it will decide who wins the first half.
It's been just a slugfest between both of these teams. The amount of bodies that we've seen Obey committing off-site is really unusual, to say the least. I don't know if it'll carry over when Strength does go to defense. As you noted, this is Obey's last time on defense here. I like the fact that the operator bans lead the attackers to having a distinct advantage, but I don't know how much has even played into it. There hasn't been that much reshaping from the attackers. So one of the main things with having a Buck, a Sledge open, a Zofia open, a Thermite, a Thatcher, a Hibana, all of those on the board means that you can play a bit more methodical. You can take your time, craft the defense's setup into your liking as attackers. Haven't really seen that. They've been fighting over maybe one hatch, maybe one wall, and the rest of it's just been a pure set of gunfights over and over again.
I really like that Strength has decided yet again to forego the Jackal, instead bringing that Capitao. Definitely the right call. On a map like Oregon, you touched on this a little bit. This map is really easy to clear out the roamers. Yes, roamers are very powerful here as they are on anywhere else, but it is not that complicated to clear out the roamers. You don't really need a Jackal to help you. That was a beautiful shot, hard to overlook. Adam going down just by a pixel. Yardy is hitting his shots right now. Sky's looking for a potential kill on the rappel. He's being baited right now by the Capitao. Could potentially cost him his life. This is not going to be an easy hold. The Twitch drone exposed inside of Armory. Yardy's looking for the shot. He will find it and land it as well. Skies goes down. Yardy with 2 already in this round. Is he going for the back-to-back 5K?
He's got 6 so
Attackers have
far without
located a
anybody
bomb.
else coming into this. Yardy is just absolutely going yard, as his name would suggest. A bit too much of a loose roam, disjointed here for Obey, as there's just not enough connection between them.
Was it a 4K? If he had only 6.
Oh, my apologies, 7 then in that case. Yeah, he got an ace last time around.
Yeah.
He's got both the kills so far for Obey, so showing you how competent I am at being able to do math on the fly. Bosco trying to choke off Generator, and Yardy will just creep up ever so slightly. A rotate from Bosco, but oh, shut down swiftly. Bosco saying no more, and put some ice on that one.
If there's anyone to shut him down, I think Bosco's the one to do it. You can see that the setup here from Strength is still underway, though, and Benji will go down to Merc, playing on that window. A second for Merc. Great positioning on the main west window, leaving Maman after missing his C4 in a 1 versus 4, and he will die to Merc. 3 for him in the round, and 2 for the Twitch as well. So Strength takes the first half, and honestly, they look really strong.
This is as good of a showing from Strength as I think most people could have hoped for. Really living up to really living up to their role as these console gunners that have come into this. And I think now's the time where, as Obey, you got to take this a bit more seriously. Buckle down, keep it in mind that you now trail on a map that you've got a lot of experience on. You need to be playing a little bit closer with one another. This disjointed solo roam that is happening at the moment, that doesn't really seem to be coordinated with anybody else on the team. You gotta bring it in. You gotta tighten it up.
Here's my question. Since we're gonna have the half swap here, will Strength be just as strong as they were on attack, now on defense, or will they suffer under the set pace that Obey is gonna lay out? Because I feel like a big part, I want to say one of the strengths of Strength in the first half was that they were allowed to set the momentum. They were the ones allowed to set the tempo, just go, 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 go. And Obey had to respond to it as the defenders, as it always is in Siege. But now, Strength is on defense, so they're going to have to respond to what Obey is putting out. And because, again, these are a bit of a dark horse team here in Strength, there's not a lot of information. We don't know how that's going to happen. It could be that the halfway transition cripples this team for all we know. Based on how they've been playing, that would not be surprising, especially on a map like Oregon, which again, I will remind you guys, is easy to shut down roamers here. As much as they are important, it's easy to shut them down. A run out from Odd is not going to see any targets. No one spawning at the construction spawn this time around. Most of them going for Junkyard, which makes sense. We're talking about a top floor defense. This is usually where you would spawn. But a missed opportunity, still missed opportunity. The bottom of White Stairs, it'd be that mute. He's looking for a fight. Skies, though, will oblige if given the opportunity. And he will actually just die from behind to Bosco. That's great droning from Benji, allowing for Bosco to get a basically free kill. And I gotta say, the positioning there for that mute, not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, I am a bit confused as to what we're seeing. The amount of runouts, the amount of peaks, the amount of early engagements, not typical of this style of play, but
of esports.
But I mean, definitely doing a great job of cutting down on the average round time that we usually see and establishing a possible new precedent here in USN.
And I mean, it did work out for Strength when they were on attack, but like I talked about, now they have to deal with Obey setting that pace, and it looks already like it's not going to be as strong of a setup for Strength.
Yeah, I mean, even then, this is still pretty decent. This is one of the slower rounds that we've seen, as there's only been 1 death so far in a minute and 20 seconds. Bosco's the only person on Obey who's taken any damage. You can see the impacts blow up. Cloudstruck just waiting on the top of White Stairs with a C4 in hand.
Yeah, he missed it, unfortunately. He did hit the door frame.
So he's going to have to pick that one up, fetch the C4, and try to keep that utility in play for the rest of his team, as that could be really detrimental to any would-be attackers. Odd does get spotted out playing inside a pantry. If they can cut off this rotate into Meeting Hall, he will be a very dead man. You saw that the Buck of Skies was watching, but there's no presence in Meeting Hall right now. So the Pulse will be able to get away. As well, worth noting, we saw an M870 there in the hands of Cloudstruck. He's going to be playing tight to that angle at the top of White Stairs. With an M870, that's pretty powerful. Yeah,
but it will be taken down by Bosco. Yardy gets Bosco, though, in response. So 2 for Bosco in the round, no more. Odd is still playing downstairs, still has that C4, but he's being pressured right now by the Buck. Yardi peeks wide and manages to take out Adam downstairs. Odd will win against Skies. Bosco and Mamando get 2, and it's all up to Merc in the 1 versus 1 after he shuts down Maman. He's in a great position to win this, but there's a lot of time for Benji. He hears Benji coming up from Generator, sees him, and what a shot from Merc! Strength take the round, and they put themselves up 4-2.
Something in the water here for Obey. Strength just seemingly, oh, what a shot from Merc, as you said. Strength just beating them on every single side right now. We're going to go down to Laundry and Supply Room and see what all is different, but right now the Gunners are showing up for Strength.
So going into this match, I'll tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, Obey, one of the best fragging teams in all of the United States and all of North America, just in general. They are a heavy-set fragger team. They have the skill, the talent, the raw power. But I figured they would play as they typically do, a little bit more reserved, slow, tactical, methodical, because they're refined, experienced as a team. That is how they are. They've gotten a lot better at pacing themselves properly. And on defense, it seemed as though they were starting off with that mentality. It didn't work out great, so they shifted to the fragging, the fallback to your skill, your raw power, which will so often aid Obey. But here, honestly, Strength seems to be leaning into it extremely heavy, and they have been doing that from the get-go, and it's working for them. It shouldn't, but it is, no matter how you look at it. And it's not just raw, brain dead, stupid fragging from Strength, what we've been seeing. It's calculated, and I appreciate that, especially when they were on attack. Watching them drone themselves in, it was incredibly efficient, more so than some other teams, of great repute in the United States. So I have to give massive props to Strength for that. Obey, on the other hand, they still, I think, have yet to figure out their pace, their setting, how they want to handle this match. And it's a little bit worrisome. It could just be Oregon, but right now it's working out great for Strength.
The map where good teams go to die.
That's true. That is true.
Is here. And, I mean, it's one where you can play a really loose, aggressive style of play on Oregon if the other team's not taking it seriously, as I said. And I mean, I think there were a couple rounds where we saw Obey committing mistakes that they might have only committed because they could hold an opinion that they are above Strength. Well, right now, not quite the case on this scoreboard. So they're going to need to buckle down if they want to be able to pull something off. You're also dealing with a very hyper-aggressive team on Strength on the other side of things. These odd kill hole, these angles that they're holding are not they're not something that you see teams commit all the time.
Yeah, they certainly aren't, and they're a little bit on the fly, as is that Guzmat. Likely not going to happen, actually. Yeah, it gets shot out pretty easily. But Obey just trying to drone out these roamers on the top floor. It's been a while since we've seen a basement defense. Lots of top floor holds from both teams. Bosco going to finally make his way in the west window. He's going to have to deal with his counterpart, though. It's going to be the Ella of Odd inside of dorms. This is a great position for an Ella, especially considering he can deal with that Guzmat from Bosco. But it's finally going to be a win for Bosco, who's been really landing his shots so far in this match. Odd just a little too exposed there. And now Obey finally have control over the West Roam. However, important to note, cost them a lot of utility, a lot of drones, and most importantly, 2 minutes.
This, a slow entry for Obey. Merc just continuously going through the motions. Gets a big kill. I don't understand. Merc has been just as pivotal to this team as we've seen from Yardi so far. Merc will hit the deck and get back to site. As keep in mind, most of these engagements that have happened have been on the second and the first floor, not exactly downstairs in Laundry Supply where the site is. Now you've got Obey coalescing up top. They have the hatches available at their disposal, but as good a time as any for plant denial to start kicking in. And that's why you're going to see the smoke go out. And I mean, Obey is in trouble on this round. Cloudstruck using another smoke, and Obey being choked out of a possible drop. Bosco and Skies doubling up on the back hatch inside a pill. The man will take out Cloudstruck after the final Toxic Babe goes down, so plant denial is all done. A Nitro Cell from Swerve will just miss, but Yardi Unless this smoke is able to do its job, he's going to be cut off clean. My man with one, but Swerve and Merc are there. A down from Skies. Yardy will need to be the savior for all of Strength. Plant going down, looking for coverage. He's going to walk the wrong way, and Bosco locks the round out in a big one for Obey. It's still 4-3 for Strength, but Obey needed that win.
Yeah, that definitely looked like a Strength victory, but Obey managing to get it. That's your tilt potential right there, where you're up 4-2, and you look like you're about to put it on a match point, and you just cannot make it happen. That's the sort of thing that, as a newer team, will often bring you down into a bit of a tilt where you're not going to be able to recover. And the question is, will Strength be able to recover from that? Now, they're going to go back downstairs again, because, of course, they were successful while defending the top floor. And if they defend the same way they did last time, it'll likely be shut down a lot quicker this time from Obey. They're very good at adjusting their strategy and accounting for those roams. One thing that did really blow my mind was how aggressive Merc was in Meeting Hall. Just peeking through a broken hole in Meeting Hall, that's so dangerous. Into the main lobby, with a minute left in the round, that usually just doesn't work for you, but he managed to make it happen. And despite all of that, despite Strength managing to delay for so long, Obey still won in the end.
Yardy and Merc with 18 combined kills over 7 rounds is really quite a feat, especially against a team that will typically out-frag you no matter what. Obey trailing on the scoreboard, trailing in terms of kills, not in the position that I think a lot of their fans probably expected here.
Yeah.
Strength really showing up and bringing their best game so far. Now, because this is a best of 3, we're going to see what endurance Strength has over the next couple rounds, next couple maps as well. If we need that coastline as the tiebreaker, you said that's a tilter?
5 seconds
Yeah, it can be. I think Obey played a little too cocky to start things off here, and they ran into some serious danger of possibly letting the game slip away. They really need to find that, you know, that 5th gear, that 6th gear in order to try and keep evenly matched with a team that is right now quite literally running them over.
I think that's what we always see, though, when it comes to a well-respected, high-level team that's been at it for a long time going up against a team that's less known. You usually see the more experienced team be a little bit, almost an opportunity there for Merc. He was trying to get the kill, but he will die to Skies thanks to that great droning and coordination between he and my man. Damage done to both of them, but damage is far greater on Strength's side as they have lost a player. And Merc, one of the top fraggers for his team, that's not great.
Yeah, this is rough. But, I mean, Obey has definitely taken some lumps over the course of this round. You've got Skies and my man who will be fighting from behind in terms of health. And 1 or 2 well-landed shots from the members of Strength can possibly down them. I mean, you're going to leave the most powerful weapon now for the defenders in the hands of Yardy playing on that Maestro. He wasn't able to clutch the round out last time. But so far here on Oregon, small sample size, but a pretty good viewing from what we've been able to see out of Yardy on attack. Defense, he'll have to live up to that same expectation. Map control, quite well for Obey. They've put the pressure on the Meeting Hall that they need. That's where Adam is positioned playing this hard breacher, whether you're going to keep him on Thatcher or whether you're going to keep him on Hibana. It's really anybody's guess. 90 seconds in, the second hatch will be gone. Obey will start to get themselves into good position to possibly drop, but Bosco just narrowly missing Yardy. It's Odd picking off Benji, the Thatcher, and Odd will get back to site.
Look at this. Look at this aggression from Yardy. He's peeking up into the Meeting Hall drop. That is so dangerous. You know, you're playing Maestro right now. You are one of those operators that should stay alive as long as possible, and he just wants those kills, man. And it's been working pretty well for Strength so far. But as Sky's entries in, Cloud will be taken down, and you could see Yardy get eliminated as well by Adam. And here we go, Strength falling apart now. They had a good chance in the round, but it's getting really bad. Swerve going for the pre-fire, going to miss his shots. Bosco takes out Odd. C4, well placed, could get a kill, it does, but the peak will be shut down. And Obey take the round, and even 4-4 now.
Just ran right through them like they were running through a paper bag there.
Something easy to run through.
Yes, that's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
The metaphor being that there was little resistance, aka...
High five?
Nope.
Do it. He did it.
Thank you.
I want it on the record.
Noted. Please have the record note that I did 5.
Yes, he did. Easy round?
A pretty easy round from Obey there. once again, so far this entire game has just been dominated by mindless aggression.
From both teams.
Peaking when you shouldn't be peaking, not necessarily being punished for it. Teams just not expecting one another. And, Odd just rotating up, getting a big kill inside a meeting when there's possibly 3 bodies there, and then Odd immediately getting back down. How do you pull that off?
Yeah, so overall, I definitely agree with you. It's kind of frustrating in a way because there's not a whole lot to talk about. And the reason there's not a whole lot to talk about is because each of these rounds are playing out the same. The strategy adjustment from both teams is interesting. What we saw there was Strength, instead of roaming, consolidating their forces in the basement. They did have roamers, but they were late roamers, mostly. And they did not roam the west side, which is curious because Obey also didn't clear the west side. They instead adjusted their strategy to a pure tower take to save some time, knowing that Strength is good at roaming that west side. So we're seeing strategic adjustments from both teams, but when it comes to the actual fights, the battles themselves, it's just peak, 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 peak everything for both teams.
5 seconds.
Merc seemingly AFK in the middle of this match. And that's really unfortunate because he's playing Frost, and right now he is exposed to the west window. So if Obey choose to break that west window, looks like they won't. Most of them spawning by construction. Either way, Merc could easily die at any moment here, and he has not gotten down any of his traps. He very likely will not get any of those traps down in this round at this point. This is the sort of thing that Obey is going to look back on in the VOD and be like, man, if we just open the west window.
How did we not know that?
Well, of course, they don't, they're not omniscient, but at the same time, what is that? Why would you do that? I can tell you right now that Skies is saying, why is he peeking that? Why is he peeking that?
Merc seemingly back from the dead, setting down the welcome mats, and now also getting some very late prep in here, but back in just as good of a time. Obviously, realizing that time management could probably be in favor of Strength, I guess, realizing you don't need the prep phase, I'm sure.
Yeah, making it work anyway. And Yardi, because he's playing Doc, after taking some damage from that engagement, going to be able to heal all the way back to 100 HP. And now, Strength need but wait for this round to conclude. What, Yardi is playing under the west window. What is that?
Just prone, lying there, waiting, holding an angle to see if someone's going to jump in through that generator window, but... I mean, he's very susceptible to a push from West Window, and I mean, if he pops up, he's just going to have to simply try to outduel them. That's not exactly an easy goal for him to be able to achieve. Both windows and kids' dorms will be shot out from a man playing underneath. The Capitao has not been a pivotal operator, typically, for Obey. Not in terms of gadget usage. So we'll see what they can make work with that. Odd playing by the doorway inside of that rear stage. He's got the C75 in his hands, gadget on. Just above him is Adam, situated on the stairs. Merc dying. Adam is going to have the impact hole go up just behind him, and that's going to be the Hibana forced to peel off. There's a flash down, and Odd blinded to see if Adam is going to go for the play or not. But keep in mind, that entire wooden panel behind him on the stairs, blown open. If he doesn't look to see where Odd is, he's going to be exposed.
Yeah, he's playing it about as safe as he can, though, not wanting to die to this Vigil. And, Odd's doing his job right now. He's just delaying. He's going to be spotted on that drone, but he will lose the fight. As soon as Odd is able to get that pistol onto Adam's head, he manages to win it out, leaving just Benji and Bosco. Benji pushing his way up the white stairs. He's looking for the angle to swerve. He is not able to find it on the swerve, but he will find it onto Yardi, who finally gets shut down after being so aggressive throughout the round. Cloud misses his C4 once more. He's been playing this angle a lot with that C4, but unable to be successful so far. He still has the M870, though. That's going to be very powerful. The Frost Mat works onto Benji, and Bosco goes down. The blast from Cloud struck. What a round for Strength. They are now on match point.
What a turn of events here for Strength. Just showing up, Obey not knowing how to handle them. Tough. But keep in mind, the only site that we've seen Strength win on is dorms. They've done it twice now. They lost both laundry supply rooms because they just couldn't muster up a significant defense off-site, and when they did try to get back to site, they just got clobbered by Obey. Obey controlling the hatches, Obey pushing from one side, basically pinning Strength to the other bomb site and then finishing them off as Strength wasn't able to possibly get a retake after Diffuser goes down. So what happens now is we're going to see another laundry room, supply room defense. So Is third time a charm here to put Oregon into the win column for Strength and stun Obey, or do we have overtime ahead of us?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks honestly a lot like we're going to be seeing overtime, considering Strength has yet to win a defense on the basement. They've gone there twice now. They were pretty close on the first time. Though, considering their strategy, I believe there's a grave inconsistency, and I think that this could go either way. It's a bit of a 75-25, you know, type of deal right now in my mind. I think Obey is likely to push us to OT, but who knows? Strength have opted to bring Swerve on the Clash, so we haven't seen Clash. I haven't seen him. Haven't seen Clash at all. I believe so far in this match. But for the very last round, potentially, she will be brought out. Very powerful operator, able to delay the push quite a lot. And considering how this match has been played, that could be fantastic for Strength. Or it could take away from their fragging power, which is seemingly the most valuable resource in this entire match.
I mean, I'm very excited to see the way that Swerve plays this Clash here, as you mentioned. I mean, she's been such a focus for us. New operators always tend to be, and they do end up getting, I think, a bit extra time in the spotlight when we see them debut, because there's a fascination involving how they fit. What, you know, are they going to be that square peg that fits into the, you know, the square slot, or are they going to be the circular peg that doesn't quite make it? So how teams use Clash has been very interesting. Strength has been exceptionally confrontational in every single round. Even
Good word.
But Clash is not an operator that I think you're going to get the most usage out of by employing her earlier in the rounds, because you can use your utility, which you will still have in spades there, to flush her out and get the kill. It's only when you really see Clash basically fortified in the site, played like an anchor, that you get the most value out of her. Yeah,
that's pretty much what we've been seeing from every team that's been playing her so far. And I remember vividly when we saw G2 as an example, they were trying to play Clash on Jonas, and every time he would be roaming as G2 do, and he would just get shut down, shut down, shut down. But you know, you see teams that choose to play her a lot more conserved, and it will do a lot more work in the end, because that little dance with the utility, like you talked about, has already happened. It's up to Blasco. He's going to be one of the most valuable operators, he and Maman, to take out that Clash with the fire bolts, the asphyxiating bolts, and the Grismots from the lifeline. No matter what, though, Obey have taken control of tower, and they're looking to apply pressure to the meeting hall. Odd playing all the way on the far south side by the main lobby. He knows the pressure is coming from tower, as most of the basement attacks have thus far in this match. That's unfortunate that there's no rotation hole in the kitchen. That could give an opportunity to the defense, but it's not there.
It's always funny to see how when it's match point, game on the line, teams always slow down because they try to take it as patiently as they can. Oh, Benji opens things up big with a double onto Odd and Merc. The Legion and the Jaeger gone from Strength. And a 5v3 with only 30 seconds to go, but Yardy's here on a big flank. He can jump in, shut down from Skies. The Sledge watching flank. The Clash and the Smoke will have double duty. Cloudstruck taking projectiles from multiple angles. A second kill from Skies. Clash in a 1v5. Hard to find yourself walking away from that with the shield or the burst SMG. We'll tie it up and send us to overtime now as Obey manages to get the round that they needed more than anything else.
Impact rounds. And the way that Strength chose to play that, pushing into the meeting hall, you're saying, yeah, teams tend to slow down, and you're right, but Strength clearly not dissuaded from just pushing everything and trying to take the fights. Now then, in that moment, it did not work out for them. Again, I have to say, if there were rotation holes in attic, in the kitchen wall, then I think Strength would have had more opportunities to push meeting hall, instead of just coming from the meeting hall entrance, which is so easily shut down. But Obey managed to make it work because they negated that rush from the meeting hall entrance, and Kids Dorms will be the first defense here, which makes a lot of sense. Strength have yet to lose this defense.
So,
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
laundry
defused
supply
by
room.
attackers.
If Strength wins this and then Obey wins their defense, that's trouble for Strength, just by having the coin flip designate you as defender twice. There's a lot of things that I think There's a lot of things I think you can say about this matchup in particular. It's been one of the fastest matches, even though we are now already in overtime, making up for lost time, I think, that we saw when the servers were having issues earlier on. But you can't say it hasn't been exciting. Yeah. It's been really interesting to watch as these teams try to get around these separate play styles. And I mean, this kind of aggression that we see from Strength is not something that teams at the highest levels are used to playing against. It's very odd.
Yeah, it's definitely a high action match. I think both teams just looking for their fights. Explosions and chaos ensue. And the setup for Strength in this round here, going to be a little bit spread out on the top floor, but that's pretty much the objective here. Odd is seemingly playing, I believe, by Junk Tower, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, there are no roamers. So this position, powerful, especially if Obey chooses to ignore it. He's just peeking everything. He just opened all the windows, and he's just looking for a fight, looking for somebody to peek into him. And that can work out, but Obey are seemingly calculating their moves quite a lot more. They've decided to clear out from the master side, so it's going to be a generator push here. They have all the right tools for it. A Habana instead of a Thermite, but still definitely workable on that generator wall. Interesting that we're not seeing the Bandit trick the generator wall in this round, though I'm sure Obey would have answers for that if it were the case. He's playing in the hallway with the M870. This could be a free kill on Bosco if he reads it right. The melee onto the barbed wire, but Cloud will just run away. Interesting call there.
I think it's too important for him to continue bandit tricking here, but he's going to see another EMP go down. The blue glow will give the EMP's position away, but Cloudstrick still has one available. So he could possibly keep Adam at bay as Obey not bothering to really run with the Thermite at all, just using that Hibana there, trying to get this wall open desperately.
Well, Cloudstruck's going to be forced off the bandit tricking, worried about that hallway window. Very dangerous. He's got the pistol out. Not the most optimal weapon to challenge this. Yardi Sosa playing on a tight angle, but a predictable one. Easily pre-fired. Meanwhile, Swerve trying to hold on to downstairs. Skies will be the one to contest him. Odd is still coming back from the junk tower. He will seemingly be aware of the potential for somebody inside a kitchen, but Sky's actually in kitchen right now, droning out looking for a kill. Odd has an opportunity here to catch his opponent off guard while he's droning for himself, but it does not seem to be. And Skies finally comes off.
So close to this confrontation. Odd will just only have that sideways table to really, that overturned table, to possibly protect him. And Skies could be able to get a very clean kill here. My man will find one for Obey to start things off. Probably the latest kill that we've had in one of these rounds. So long to Merc. Execute going down in full swing. Cloud sees one, drops him with the M870. Swerve a C4 kill. Cloudstruck going for a second. Diffuser is down. Can he work against the tides of Obey? It's a 3v3. Yardi taking damage. The Doc trying to outduel both Bosco and my man fall. Cloudstruck another M870 kill. But Skies with the Ash. This is a frightening prospect. He needs to find the mute in time. Swerve will get it, and Strength will move back to match point. So close for the Ash of Skies, but looks the wrong way.
Could you imagine he turns right there, manages to get the 3K and win the round? It was so very close, as you said. Strength, though, winning out in the end. And that's a big win for them. But now they're going to have to go on to attack. Question is, where will Obey choose to go? Now, they were equally successful on both sites, winning one defense on the top floor and one defense on the bottom floor. So there is no surefire choice here for them, though they did lose quite a lot more on that top floor than they did on the bottom floor. And it will be, as a result, a basement hold for Obey. They're going to have to make this work. They were not as strong on defense as they were on attack, that's for sure. But they can make this happen if they push it. The operator lineup, mostly making sense. I'm kind of surprised that we've been seeing so little Valkyrie. She's been getting 6-picked off of quite a lot, especially for Obey so far in this match.
Possibly fearing maybe a 6th pick on IQ, but I mean, that doesn't really make much sense given that Strength is not running IQ at all.
That's the thing, is I think they're faking out for an IQ 6-pick. I think that's why they keep going Valkyrie and then 6-picking into something else. But in this case, it was a 6-pick onto a Pulse, so that doesn't really play to that logic. More importantly, yeah, what you said. Strength doesn't seem to want to play IQ. So, possibly an advantage that you could gain for your team, but choosing not to. They have great operators aside from that, though. Nothing wrong with their current lineup.
Obey won dorms once, lost it twice. Won laundry once, lost it once. So
they're going off the losses.
Pretty even. They're going to go with laundry, where they have a better record by one site. So one of Obey's biggest criticisms as a team has been that their roam is not connected. They don't always back each other up. They don't always fight for trades as well as other teams do. But here's the biggest issue. It's match point, and Strength is just going to go for broke. They're going to hit construction hard. My man is there. Guns down 1-2, my man. Traded off by Cloudstruck. Bosco is there, and Obey will feast upon Strength. Strength in numbers, sure, but you're going to have to peel off. And Merc and Cloudstruck, I think, wisely reading that it's a 4v2 now with Obey's favor. You tried. You tried your best. It didn't work. Pivot and see what you can make happen over the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds in this round.
So here's the really dangerous thing now. Strength have not won a defense of the basement, and they cannot go back to the top floor. So now when we go to the final round, which is very likely, Strength is going to have to do something they've never done before. Merc trying to get a kill onto Adam, who is peeking at the bottom of those launcher stairs. He will not win the fight against Benji. A nice try. Cloudstruck will refrag it, but it's now a 1 versus 3, and Cloud has very... it was about 49 HP. That's not enough. It's not enough to make this work. Gas canister going to do no damage, surprisingly.
I can't believe he managed to get away with that without taking even a single tick of damage, but...
Yeah.
I mean... this is definitely still winnable. I mean, it will have to be a slugfest from Cloudstruck, as the diffuser is basically miles away at this point, and he's going to have open hatches where you bet Obey is going to be playing under, looking up towards. Cloudstruck doesn't have the advantage of being able to take long angles. He doesn't have an ACOG equipped on that C8. It's just a hollow. And yeah, I mean, you can still fight well, but you're not going to have the same optical advantage that you're going to have from Adam, who's running an ACOG on that Alda, who can see you presumably better than you can see him.
He's looking for maybe somebody inside of construction. He will spot Bosco, who's playing there, as well as Skies. So good information here for Cloud. Hopefully he did see Bosco. We saw him clearly on the screen. But he doesn't actually seem to be aware of Bosco playing that position. He will drop, hear the shotgun, and lose to Bosco's shotgun, which is far superior in an actual fight. So 6-6, final round. This next one, the decider. And like I said, Strength have yet to win a basement defense. They're going to have to do so now.
If I'm Strength, I don't go to laundry supply room.
You're going to go somewhere else?
Throw a curveball, go to tower. Throw a curveball, go to kitchen.
I mean, knowing them.
You've lost laundry supply room every single time you've played it. At least you can say that if you go to another site, you tried something else. You can throw that unpredictability, that wrench into Obey's plans, but with only 10 seconds left on this countdown, it looks like laundry room. And
if they consistently win those defenses. I mean, I kind of agree with you, I guess. And based on how the way that Strength plays, seems like something that's...
Obviously, even though teams, there's only been one, now two after that last round. There's only been 2 successful defenses of the basement, which speaks really to what I said about the way that these operator bans are working, is that the attackers are going to be quite heavily favored there attacking that site, given that they have all the hard breach and utility with only a Lion and a Glass missing. Yeah, Lion did wreak havoc on that site, and that's why a lot of teams were going up to dorms when Lion was so prevalent, but now that he's banned, you can go back downstairs.
You know, the interesting thing for me is that the way that these teams have been playing on defense is because of their lack of Mira and Echo. They've been getting just crazy aggressive, pushing everything, you know, taking all the fights they can, roaming quite a lot. And that reinforces their defensive playstyle, but it also, the operators that are missing, if playing an anchor playstyle would not influence the match very much, because the way that nobody's attacked from the main lobby yet. We have not seen a laundry take once throughout this whole match, and we've gone to the last possible round. Both teams have been attacking consistently from the tower, from construction. They've been taken from the north on this basement hold. Now, sometimes they'll clear out the west, but they almost always focus on the meeting hall drops and the tower. So, the lack of a mirror, lack of an echo, echo almost doesn't mean anything in this scenario. Mira does. And she does influence that back take, certainly. Having a mirror window facing your back hallway is great. But still, overall, just a weird match.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen a construction rush. We've seen.
Looks like this is the first launch, by the way.
I'm so intrigued at what we're watching just unfold in front of us. You even had right there, Odd looking to go for a press into meeting hall with the match on the line, knowing that there might be multiple bodies in there. That's just a really heavy gamble that you don't always need to take. Skies will have time for a reset, losing so much health. You can get reset really at any time.
No.
But I think Strength has read this perfectly. They know that the pressure is going to be coming from this main hatch this time around, and Obey is set up very well for this execute. Skies will finish off Yardy, very low on HP for Skies, so that's a huge kill onto the Maestro. He's going to look to keep that rolling.
Yeah, the Maestro was the most important operator, is still the most important operator, but being gone, that's huge. Strength being a little bit predictable here. Pushing into meeting hall, I am all but certain Obey has this locked up, and yes indeed, Benji will be holding it from the kitchen. There is no way that this flank is going to work out. It would have to be incredible luck for it to, and it looks like Benji's actually going to lose the first fight, but win the second. Adam takes out Merc, who's also rushing upstairs. Bosco takes down Cloud, leaving it into a 1 versus 1. My man does get a TK onto Adam, so great job, but Swerve has missed a C4, which means he's not going to be able to deny the defuse plan. Going for a peek onto the drop down, and he loses it outright. Benji, great job shutting down the flank and getting that final kill. Good halves come out in the chat. It was a well-fought first map all the way. 7-6. You don't often see that. And I just hope that it is boding of our future maps to come.
Strength just putting in an incredible performance. This might be the biggest stage that we've seen this team play on with, you know, the viewers, the channel, etc., playing here on U.S. Nationals, and this is the spirit of this league. This is why USN exists, is to give teams like this an opportunity to shine and perform and test their mettle against other experienced teams. When you have Obey coming into this, a team that, as you've noted many times, high fragging potential, might not have the highest coordination among their peers in the rest of North America, and in America in particular, but they should be gunning quite well. But you see such a puzzling and seemingly new style of play to this level from Strength that just, they peek everything. They hold angles that people aren't used to holding. There's almost a gentleman's agreement among the top teams in the world and the top teams in each region as to how you play. And Strength are just not playing that game. They're playing their own game, and Obey took a long time to adapt. I don't even know if they still did adapt because they lost on a site that we didn't see Strength win on. So that was certainly an interesting match.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It is interesting. I don't know if it's in a gentleman's agreement. I think it's just the way the meta plays out, though. It's like, you're going into a scrim. You've been practicing for weeks, and you came up with this strategy. Now, the strategy was, you know, proven to be redundant or just not viable by another team that you went into a scrim against. So you adapt that strategy, and you continue to do this. You just repeat the process over and over and over again. Eventually, you find yourself with this form of a strategy that works against what your opponents are dealing with. It's just how the meta adapts, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And Strength are just saying, screw all of that. We're just gonna fight you guys. We'll take fights. We'll engage you, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not. Honestly, it makes a lot of sense in their situation. That's exactly what I think I would be doing, because you're at the disadvantage if you're trying to adapt to your opponent's meta, because they're the ones who are refining it. You know, they're the ones who are defining it. Yeah. So, I gotta say, I agree with the way Strength is handling this. It is interesting to watch. It's a little bit different, and sometimes it's looked at as a, something that, bad taste, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very aggressive style of play that you don't really see emulated from other teams, right? And I think it's going to translate to Consulate quite well. Lots of windows to peek from, lots of opportunities to jump out. There's plenty of rotates available. You have the Visa stairs, you have Spiral stairs, you have Yellow stairs. Unless you have somebody dedicated to flank watch or a dedicated drone, a possible Claymore, lots of opportunities here for Strength to just continue to rotate and keep some semblance of map control in their favor. Consulate is already very much a map where you know that there's likely going to be roamers on all of the floors depending on where they're going to be playing. Maybe when you're going upstairs and defending on the console office on the second floor, maybe there might not be somebody in the garage. But with this team and the way Strength has been playing, I wouldn't put it past them one bit.
No, I think that this is going to be a great match as we load into Consulate, map number 2. Definitely an opportunity to see another 6-7 here. I do think that Oregon is going to lend itself a little bit more to Strength. I think the way that they're playing, there are just a lot more opportunities. Consulate has the same if not more opportunities to just peek things and get advantages early on. But the problem is that it's so open. Interesting ban there from Strength. Taking out IQ, that's going to put a lot of weight into a Valkyrie here. We might actually see Valkyrie banned because of that IQ ban. But it's going to be Lion, of course, from Obey, which makes a lot of sense. They banned Lion in the first match, and they'll ban him in the second.
Could you imagine Strength with Lion available at their disposal?
That would be frightening.
That would be so terrifying to have to deal with.
There goes Valkyrie.
As you mentioned, Valkyrie wasn't seeing quite a lot of play, but I think it's smart to take Valkyrie out knowing that there's no IQ because, well, the cameras in those trees, very difficult to spot.
I don't know what Odd expected with the frowny face. If you're going to ban out IQ, the immediate response is going to be banning Valkyrie. So, yeah, I'm surprised he was surprised.
Strength didn't look like they were exactly sure of what to go with next. But there you go. They're going to take out Echo. All right. Well, Echo was banned by Obey last time around. You don't need to worry about somebody here possibly playing him, as both teams are going to ban him in 2 maps.
I mean, he's a really great operator, really powerful on any site, really. Universally useful. And because there's no IQ, he becomes even more powerful. So IQ and the 2 operators she counters the most, in my opinion, both being taken out of the match. So that's going to be an interesting one on Consulate. Valkyrie, of course, being one of the most powerful defensive ops on this map. And just not allowed to be played here. Interesting that we're going to see Basement actually first from Strength. You do not see this very often, although it does happen. Usually if you're going to see Basement first, or as the primary site, it's because Thermite has been banned, but not so here.
Very interesting to see Garage be first, yeah.
I also really like that we're seeing a 6-pick onto the Bandit. As you can see, off of the Vigil onto the Bandit. Why are they doing that? Well, they're not picking Bandit right off the bat, because why are you picking Bandit? You're going to defend the basement. So if you choose not to bring Bandit, you could potentially get the Thermite 6-picked into something else. However, Obey will not fall for that. So, definitely a nice attempt from Strength, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this so many times with Consulate. When you look at it, you almost always need a Thermite just in case.
Yeah.
I mean, but you don't. I mean, there's an asterisk there. We saw in a couple weeks ago, Evil Geniuses in Pro League, they attacked Garage and they only brought a Hard Breacher 1 time when they were attacking.
Yeah.
Knowing that they had to go to Garage and it was a Hibana. They didn't even bring the Thermite. So it is very doable, especially if you go through Server and Visa, to be able to put pressure on this Garage setup without Thermite as your Hard Breacher.
You know, that's the thing, is it's doable. It's just the meta is bring the Thermite, right? And that's the sort of thing that people can read into, and you can choose to try and counter, but you don't necessarily have to play into. You don't have to be like, oh yeah, let's play around the Thermite existing or not. It's not necessary. You can make it work other ways. You don't even need to attack the Garage, although you are kind of limiting your options if that's how you're going to try and handle a basement attack. No matter the case, Obey, very wise here. Clearing out from admin office all the way down. They're going to lose my man to Yardy early on, but Adam refrags, because Yardy still peeking that yellow staircase. Very dangerous. So nice and even here. The loss of a Doc is going to hurt, but the loss of a Capitao going to hurt even more.
This style of play that we're seeing from Strength, I mean, will continue to work until Obey tightens up the way that they're playing. Still, Obey is playing way too aggressive right into the hands of Strength, but, I mean, sometimes Strength don't land their shots, and there you go. Odd, who is going to be bandit tricking, you can say goodbye, but the bandit, who might be downstairs watching the Garage, was upstairs on the 2nd floor at the top of yellow.
I have to say, I'm very confused by Odd there. They already lost top floor. And here's the thing, an admin clear of the top floor is so typical, it's ridiculous. So the fact that he's rotating out of Garage to go upstairs to the top floor, the only situation where that works is if you hold a nasty angle, like maybe sit in yellow stairs and wait for them to push you without droning. But if you just try to retake yellow stairs to top floor like that, you're gonna die. And he died. So a poorly calculated move by Strength. And I think the calculation of Strength's moves are going to be much more important on Consulate than they would be on Oregon, because there's a lot less off angles. While it's a much more open map, it's also, because of that, more predictable and easier to lock down as a team. Swerve just pushing up yellow stairs, but he misses his shots, and he narrowly gets the kill. Oh, misses the melee, finally shuts down Skies. That was dangerous. The call will be made, and Bosco's going to adjust his angle inside of the main lobby. Skies going yikes in the chat because what was that push? No one's shutting him down, but Obey need to, like you said, Obey need to tighten it up. There needs to be a drone watching that, or just a player.
I mean, even in Sky's defense there, what team are you playing against where you're going to have somebody at 40 seconds left, peels off a site to go up top and flank you? I mean, that's inconceivable to me that somebody would bother to expend an operator and put them in that position. Meanwhile, Adam and Benji. Well, there's utility on the board, but Adam won't get too far. He gets shut down by White Van. Smokes go up from Benji, goes for a pre-fire, but Merc is watching it. Diffuser will drop. And Merc, who was playing on yellow stairs, actually looked like he might go for a run out as well before he saw the Claymore trying to figure out where Benji was located. Yeesh.
What was that, man?
That Legion pulling up from garage. At some point, somebody gets the call, I'm going to go peek him. And then a Legion moves from garage all the way up to the first floor to flank the Buck with 40 seconds left.
See, the confusing thing to me isn't just the Legion. It's the Legion, the Bandit, Yardy. Odd, the Bandit, pushed the top floor and tried to retake it at about 1:30 after, obviously, the attackers at that point, given the typical meta, which is what Obey is pertaining to right now, they would have that control. So he basically threw his life away. There was no calculation of his move there. Yardy was peeking yellow stairs, I believe. He managed to get a kill, and he died to the second person. There's no calculation of that move there. It's just go, go, go. It's the same thing with the Legion. But third time's the charm, it works out, and Strength managed to get the round because of that push by Swerve. It narrowly was a failure. He missed almost his entire magazine, but because Obey is only accounting for the 2 senseless pushes, they couldn't predict the third. And here's the thing. It's not a bad thing that Strength is doing. I say senseless, uncalculated, that's true. They're just kind of pushing. But it's working! So it's really confusing that it's working, but it is. So you can't take that away from Strength.
I'm almost at a loss for words. This whole match has really been something. He already goes for another peek and he misses. He comes so painstakingly close. He sees the head of him. Oh, he already connects!
What?
How do those things keep happening? Oh my goodness, I don't get it. But a great kill for Yardy. My oh my.
This is an interesting match, if nothing else. Obey have managed to take control. They wrangled control of the outside of the building away from the defenders, and they're going to also take the top of the roof, start opening up those holes into B. There is somebody playing on the B bomb right now. It's going to be droned out, very obviously, here from Obey.
Bomb located by attackers.
But the question is, will he move? Seems that he has. Yes, indeed. Or to connector.
Look at what Benji's having to do. Benji is literally having to sit under this window and wait because they are expecting somebody from Strength to pull a Hardy Boys and come flying off the top row and try to get them underneath.
And there were 2 people that droned that, and he was still waiting, and now he's going to drone it because Obey are tripping over themselves to try and make sure they're not getting run out on. This is crazy. This is just a weird match. I expect almost every run out to be utilized in this match. If not only by Strength, then also by Obey, who are just as aggressive on their defenses.
Yardy with a great peek on Capitao to start things off in this round about a minute ago. Looked like he was going to get a second onto Bosco, and I mean...
He wants it.
He desperately needs another kill, it seems like. Now he's going to rotate up to that mirror window playing in connector. It's a double repel from Obey, but look at Odd underneath.
Someone's watching him, though.
He does get spotted by Skies, and he'll absorb an awful lot of damage. Smoke's going down that will cut off Yardy. Plant from Adam, all in full swing. Odd still on the roam, takes out Benji. Bosco trades him off. Yardy now trying to watch to see exactly what happened with Adam, who does get Diffuser down. So, Obey in a strong position there. A watch drone will go out. Swerve taking Bosco. Adam will have to deal with Yardy, but no, Yardy dips around the corner. He gets the kill that is needed. Falling off of this diffuse plant, Sky's in trouble, tosses up a grenade, but there we go, they'll drop Sky's with the double, and he goes for a third! They're just jumping out with a diffuse from Strength! What a round!
What are we watching right now?
Oh my word!
This match is... yeah, it's a barn burner, as Odd says. Definitely a barn burner, but just a confusing match. More importantly, I think as much as it is exciting and great to see these tactics being used, they're also not really tactics. That's the wrong word. Great to see this mentality being used. It's different. It's crazy. It's exciting, but it's odd.
I can see somebody on Strength when those two frags got tossed up there.
Yeah.
I can hear their comms. Yo, he's out console window. Let's get him, boys. And they all just jumped.
Yeah.
And one person was left to defuse. Yeah, I'll defuse. You guys go. And they all just jumped out. And Skies picks up 3 totally impactless frags.
Yeah.
Exit frags, and then nada.
He's got the stats though. That's definitely gonna help the stats, but it also isn't gonna help anything at all. I mean, you know, that's not gonna change the outcome of this match so far. 2-0, Strength's favor. Now here's the crazy thing: Strength as a team seem to be better on attack than they are on defense because they are more. It's easier to set the tempo when you're on attack. You are the ones in the driver's seat. You need to make sure that you don't hit the road barrier. But here on defense,
here we go again.
They're making it work again. It's Merc this time too. It's not even Yardy. Yardy was playing Doc for the first 2 rounds. Now here's Merc playing Doc. Here's one thing. One big thing that I've noticed about Obey. They've been spawning at the same place. Everybody's going to the same place. At some point, the call was made, guys, we cannot be getting spawn peaked. We need to stick together on our spawns because it's just too dangerous. And that's definitely helped Obey. They managed to avoid getting spawn peaked in this round, and they're just going to go for a standard admin take. Curious thing here from Strength, they don't have anyone holding the top floor on a middle floor hold, which is abnormal.
Very abnormal. Everything about this matchup is abnormal.
Yes.
I don't think we've seen a single round where I can look at it and go, yeah, I've seen that before.
I mean, we've seen pieces. Nothing's like amazingly new or anything. It's just the sometimes it's the volume, sometimes it's the combination of certain things. The 3 people jumping out of the CEO window. I mean, it's a number of stuff. Yardy's just picking up the angle. He saw the Capitao challenge this, and now he's like, oh, you want a challenge? Let's fight. Let's go, bro. I will take you. That is the mentality for Strength right now. And it's so far not worked out for either of them.
I'm honestly amazed that we haven't seen a Blackbeard come out from Obey at this point.
Good point, yeah.
I mean, you've got Bosco who can play it if need be. Benji's played it before. Why not bring it out? I mean, or even start running shields here to try and deal with this because this is just patented aggression. Isn't going to go anywhere. Oh, no, Capitao! You're going to get away. My man gets downed. I don't know if that call is made. Merc very, very close. My man will seek the shelter of the barrier separating him from the rest of the defense.
You know, the crazy thing about that is my man was playing as safe as he possibly could outside that front door, and as soon as he peeks, he gets taken down. Now, he'll be picked up by Benji. Teamwork makes the dream work. But 50 seconds left, half of your HP gone. Odd is going to get the first kill.
And only possible 2 shots into my man as well. Keep in mind that the execute requires these asphyxiating bolts, these smokes, etc. You don't necessarily need the hard destruction, so Adam was not a high priority target here. Sky's trying to take out the Maestro playing in bathroom, but the Maestro stays nicely going. Oh, he already hits the deck. So long, my man. These ACOGs just doubling up. Odd consuming everything. The frag grenade from Sky's going down. He'll find Yardy as the rotate comes out from Bathroom. Sky's looking for another, but Benji will get it first. A push in from Obey. Plant with the chassis of the bomb, being able to protect Benji.
15 seconds to go.
He's going off. He's going to rely a lot on Skies as pings come out through the Evil Eyes. He's going to get it off successfully. Sky's watching from above. Benji will put us on a 2v2. And the Buck just showing himself for a second. Merc is there. What can Benji pull off? He gets the defuse down. He will need to get the final kill as well. Benji just trying to dive around this table, but no, he'll get downed, and that will be 3 in a row for Strength here on Consulate. What are we witnessing?
Wow. Crazy thing is, Obey managed to get the position they wanted in the end. It cost them 3 lives, but they managed to get smokes down, diffuser being planted, and vertical cover from above. The execution was right there for Obey. They just could not handle the fact that they lost so much HP, so many lives early on. Overall, Strength, just peeking things, man. Just peeking things. And it's working out. It is definitely working out. Another thing, I have to say, I think if you wanted to isolate a single mentality, a single way to play the game that could potentially tilt Obey, this would be it. So if Obey are unable to start getting rounds here, that's a huge hole you're going to find yourself in.
There's no way that this isn't getting to Obey. 0% chance that this is not under Obey's skin right now.
Yeah, definitely.
You're looking at 45 seconds left. You're looking at a minute left in a round. Windows are getting broken. People are peeking you. In no universe should this be happening.
I think it really started.
Yikes.
I think it all started.
$10 says Strength still wins this round.
They're just going to peek everything.
100%.
At least one spawn kill. Okay, if they get a spawn kill and then 2 late runouts, they'll win the round.
Bomb located by attackers.
The radio did this. You don't have to shoot. It makes noise, but you don't have to shoot it immediately. Just take your time, all right? Odd, take your time.
10 seconds to
Anyway, what was I saying? I think it all started with that kill that Skies got above Attic. When he was on the roof in Oregon, he was running from tower to, across Attic to the main roof, and Yardy just peeked him, man. He just peeked him from the hallway window. And I can tell, I could hear, oh, what a shot from Bosco. So, speaking of just peeking, so no, I think this is going to be possibly Obey's first round. After the TK and the shutdown spawn peek, this might be the one. That, by the way, is the first time they've been able to shut down the spawn peek without the spawn peek getting something. So, great job to Obey.
I wonder how much the team kill is going to factor into this. You know, I mean, you got to take it round by round.
Yep.
And Obey still seeking to try and take complete control of the second floor, but Strength don't have the numbers in order to contest outside of sight right now. You have to stick those 3 bodies close to sight. I mean, we say that, but I bet you Strength is not.
Yeah, Odd is playing top floor right now with his cap can.
As good a place to be as any. He's got some Capkin traps here. He's going to miss the buck, and Skies just obliterates him through that soft wall. Strength now with Merc also watching the door. He's got my man trying to dare him to another duel. Who's going to win this one?
It's a 2 versus 5 right now, and he's peeking yellow stairs. And he's going to lose that fight, and a lot of HP because of it. Eventually falls back.
A lot of damage being done to Merc. Cloudstruck essentially going to find himself in a 1v5 here. Yeah, 1 bullet onto Merc, and he goes down. And he's making a push, man. He wants to bring it back. A rotate from the Jaeger will be spotted out by a drone from Benji, ceiling above Cloudstruck, blowing wide open, as will the garage panels as the exothermic charges continue to put pressure on Cloudstruck, playing behind this white van. Still got some drones on him. The Vector isn't quite the weapon it used to be, and Nitro Cell has been expended, so there's going to be limited fragging potential here. Oh, what a play, Bosco! No! Cloudstruck with 3v1. But this is very difficult for Strike to be able to pull off. Benji missing his shots. Cloudstruck can win this. Tagging up now, but my man will be there after all of the rounds where my man has been the literal punching bag of Strength. He will get the last laugh on this round. It will be the first one that Obey is successful on.
I will say, though, that was almost a strength round. They almost made that happen, and...
I will also say this. I'm also out $10 now. I was wrong.
Whoops. But yes, we were talking about how Obey were probably getting tilted by this playstyle, and you know what the antidote to that is? Your enemy TKing in the spawn. Right, like a second after the spawn. That is a nice, you know, you're feeling the sky is blue, the grass is green, and everything is good in the world after that TK, I imagine, for Obey.
I mean, I still think Obey's going to be angry.
Oh, yeah, but like that's definitely going to help.
They're just they're so feisty. They're so feisty. They're peeking everything. They're challenging every angle.
It's a good word.
Obey, obviously not anticipating it. I mean, who really would? It's a scorched earth style of play that Strength is playing. They are setting themselves up to possibly take catastrophic losses at every single peak, but they're getting away with it, and they're getting away with it quite well.
Because they're hitting their shots and they're doing it a ton.
And that's the thing. Strength are not missing. This is usually when you see teams try to do this and get very aggressive, what happens a lot of times is that because teams are not used to that style of play, they're not used to playing in that zone all the time, they try to peek things and they just miss. It's whiff after whiff, and they end up, like shouting into the night, and they get nothing back from it.
Yeah.
That's not what Strength is doing. Strength is used to this. They're accustomed to this. They're playing a style of play that so many people at high levels are just not used to dealing with.
And another thing is they fervently adhere to this doctrine. They just never relent. We see time after time, oh, they'll lose one fight. Maybe they'll lose another fight. And then there's a third and a fourth. Everybody on Strength is on the train. They're on the peak everything train. Obey seem to struggle with accounting for each and every one of those. All that said, though, Obey have won one of these rounds. And if they can get this next round, this match is still very much winnable. I mean, even if they lose this round, maybe the transition's going to be enough.
I mean, the crazy thing is to this is that I don't think the defenders should be winning.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
You look at the bans right now, and it's like the attackers have quite an advantage, in my opinion. You know, you've got Maverick, who's quite powerful on this map. He's on the board. Both the Heart Breachers are on the board. You know, you've got Glaz on the board, Ying on the board, etc.
You lost IQ, but she doesn't do anything because Echo and Valk are already gone.
The two hardest counters. Yeah. Or IQ's the two operators that she hardest counters, they're gone. So I mean,
that's a redundant attack ban.
I am all things. I believe I said baffled last time around. B-A-F-F-L-E-D, baffled, and that is exactly how you would spell my middle name right now.
So 2 people late flanking onto Bosco, but Bosco shuts one of them down. However, there's still another. That's Merc on this top floor.
He just skates right by him.
Yeah, and this is the thing. He wasn't roaming top floor through the whole round, if I'm not mistaken. I think he late flanked after Obey cleared admin office. So now Merc is playing from above, and Obey has no idea. Why do they have no idea? Because they were aware of the one, but they didn't expect the other.
Why would you expect 2 people to be rotating this way? Meanwhile, the site push is getting pummeled. He now lost Swerve as well, even if you can call it a site push, because Strength just seems to say no thank you to anchors.
Oh, Merc, please just peek it, man.
I want to see what Merc can accomplish here. That's 60 hertz Merc as he jumps on Bosco, the Zofia, out to lunch. A big kill for the Jaeger, looks for a second as he and Skies will tussle. Skies walks away with a bit of dents. Merc looks the other way, expecting a push from the Capital. That's the right read. Ooh. He's going to get pinched here. He sees the Capital. My man will get the frag needed as Skies was in position to get it as well. Claymore of Bosco still cutting off that rotate from Yellow Stairs. We are in the dying seconds of this round here. Cloudstruck and Yardy last 2, but Yardy, don't ever count him out. He's going to see the Claymore and peek right up, or he doesn't see it. He gets tantalizingly close. My man will find a second kill as Benji ends things here. And it is a mercy killing onto Strength's final 2 members as we exit this first half with Obey in better shape than they looked earlier on.
Yeah, the last 2 rounds, it seems like Obey managed to figure it out, reading that strategy from Strength. And they managed to shut it down twice. So in that last round, it looked like Strength had the right tools again, but the timing was just off. One thing to talk about there was how Merc was trying to flank in that instance. He managed to get the first kill, almost got 2 more, but Obey just played barely passive enough to avoid their deaths. And I think that's the name of the game for Obey now, is play it passive. Wait for those pushes. Now, of course, they're going to defense, so that's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a garage hold for Obey first off.
I really want to see. I want to see what happens here on this defense, because we've seen Strength set the pace. Even on defense, Strength has set the pace, and they've done so admirably. How are they going to be able to attack Obey? They went for that, you know, that very ballsy, brazen construction rush on Oregon. It fell apart, left their attack in tatters afterwards. I'm assuming we're going to see that again. So,
Bomb located by attackers.
Who knows? Mira being brought out here. As you saw earlier, Strength were not too keen on bringing the Mira. Did bring it once on the basement, if I'm not mistaken, maybe possibly a couple times, but it didn't seem to play into the strategy very much.
10 seconds left.
Very likely won't as well for Obey. To be honest, this is not a huge Mira map.
5 seconds left.
Security Miras are powerful, but not that powerful, especially if you don't have an ACOG to play them. You can still make them work, it's just not as easy. Obey going to be roaming pretty heavily on the top floor. They have 4 players upstairs right now. Oh, could you imagine if there were a rush strategy this time around from Strength? I like the mirror window strategy on the main garage. This is one of the most powerful positions you can put the mirror in. Cool thing about that is there's some pre-set up C4s that you can deny thermite charges or Habana X-Caros with. It's really powerful.
Seen quite well by Liquid too, being able to pop that mirror, toss it out through Van. So we'll see what can come of this, but 30 seconds and Merc has breached inside a Visa office. Nobody contesting there. You can see one body of Obey is above from the silhouette. That is information that might not be at his availability for the time being, or of his knowledge. He does hear somebody, and it'll be Swerve tasked with going on to drone. Being the hard breacher, it doesn't really surprise us that that will be the one tasked with drone. Yardy eliminated from a man, so Obey peeking themselves, and will take out probably the best shot that we've seen so far on Strength.
Yeah.
Gauging his cloaking device, Skies just wades down towards the bottom of Visa stairs, sees a drone, kills it, goes back up to Maman, who playing aggressively through the hatch, and that'll be Odd dumping a whole bunch of concussive mines in, but nothing will come of it, and both Maman and Skies will move apart. Odd does find Benji though, Adam refrags, and we find ourselves very similar here, but the Ash of Merc to greet Skies as there is a strange pace that is being set by both of these teams, and Maman is next on deck.
Yeah. Now, you said the best shot on Strength, and I definitely agree. Yardy's probably him, but Merc and Odd, both of them on the same level. Merc will be shut down finally by Maman, just going for that roamer strategy that we've been seeing so prevalent for both teams. Cloudstruck though, remember the ace he got in the first map? Could he potentially pop off here in the second? Definitely one of the better Twitch players in this matchup.
Eyes closed, what side are they defending right now?
I have no idea.
With everything that's happening, Cloudstruck and Vayne will get taken out by Bosco, and we will find both teams back 3-3. That was a downstairs defense within all of the action occurring around spiral stairs, projector, long desk, up on the second floor, until Cloudstruck decided to suicide right into the middle of the site.
Are we... What game are we commentating right now, Parker? Could you remind me?
This is Rainbow Six Siege.
Thank you. I needed that reminder. This is just weird. The strategy that we saw there from Obey was much like what we were seeing from Strength, but it was a lot more from the get-go. So what Strength tended to do was they roamed heavily, but they preferred late flanking. In that round, Obey simply put a top-heavy defense strategy together and waited for their opponents to come to them. Strength did not drone out the entire top floor. That's the biggest thing for me. The reason the late flanks were necessary and the reason they worked for Strength is because Obey are thorough. They drone out all of the corners. They make sure they account for things. Now, not all the times. Of course, every team makes mistakes. But Strength aren't doing that. They aren't droning all of the things. They aren't looking for their opponents as effectively on this map. Because of that, Obey's roam game has been allowed to come into the match. A big thing to note is on Oregon, Obey was not allowed to roam as readily because it's Oregon. That's a map that typically the roamers get shut down really easily. Strength somehow managed to make it work against all odds, but they shouldn't have been allowed to. It should have been an outright failure. It still did, but it worked, but whatever. It's odd. But now Obey are on a platform where they can roam a lot more effectively. And that's going to give them definitely a leg up on Consulate. Something we didn't consider earlier. Because, of course, they are a team well known for their roamers.
And now we'll go upstairs, up to console office. It was the scene of the crime for both of these teams in the previous round. It was an impressive bounce back from Obey, who seemed to have...
figured it out.
They have engaged Operation Peak Everything Ourselves, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked quite well. And a bit of hesitation from Strength, I'm sure, will come out every now and then because you can't take these fights as readily. But I mean, they're bringing a Glass, they're bringing a Blackbeard. These are two operators that can go quite the distance on this site in particular, and I liked the Blackbeard is coming out. We knew how much peeking was happening from Strength. I'm surprised that Obey didn't bother to run it. But that won't be the case here. Giving you the scope here for the Glass, very difficult to see Yardy's perspective. Obey will have to completely fall off. And now Yardy just sitting and waiting. But a double kill from Obey. They'll take a big advantage early on. It's only been a minute so far, and you've lost Capitao, you've lost Ash, and more smoke will continue to go out and just cut off a push inside. Now Yardy going for the dash. He'll get gunned down, run Forest run, but he'll get no farther. You see Cloudstruck playing from above. So long, my man. It's just the Blackbeard and the Jackal. That's it. It's been 90 seconds. Oh my.
So we talked about how Strength looked better on attack in the first map. So far, having a difficult time here on Consulate. Well shut down on that CEO push. Bosco waiting for his shot, and he's going to hit the Blackbeard shield, which absorbs one blast. Cloudstruck makes a kill on Disguise, but is eventually taken down by Adam, leaving just Swerve on the Blackbeard. Definitely not a clutch operator. We've seen it happen before, many times, but you are going to be in a difficult spot using a Blackbeard here. The shield saves Swerve once more, absorbing just as many bullets as is necessary. Or no, actually, just the SMG-11 not doing enough damage.
It was the recoil of the SMG-11. Yeah. That's a kill under the old patch, but won't be found this time around. I think Swerve abandoning all hope here, and
there's no way he makes this work.
Once more onto the breach he will go, this time with a Deagle, but he shows up for just a second, and Bosco will snipe him through the railings, and the first lead of the game for Obey as they put 4 rounds together, and quite literally stare down the barrel of a victory as it gets ever closer.
If Obey had not read the way Strength were playing on their defenses and played a little bit more passive on Obey attacks, then we would see this be, I think, a lot more, or still in favor of Strength. So that was on Obey, recovering those last 2 rounds of the first half. Getting these next 2, that's 4 in a row. And now Obey are looking incredibly strong. At the same time, Strength have managed to make a pretty strong impression.
I mean, it's how well does Strength's playstyle match up against some other teams? You know, let's say that they were playing Mouse. Let's say that they were playing Space Station. Let's say they were playing Rogue, who we've seen before. Let's say they were playing Noble. Say they were playing Cloud9. All the teams that have already made it so far, and then Mouse competing in the next matchup. What if they were playing against Flawless? How would this work against them? You can make a pretty credible argument that this matches up quite well against Obey, because Obey are not a team that may have the best coordination amongst them. And because of this, it's easy for them to be literally cleaved down the middle by, we see Yardy and Merc doubling up on them.
I don't know if it's a deliberate decision by Obey. I don't know if they're saying, hey, let's all spawn at the same place when they were on attack, or if that's just how they started playing it out. But whether it was a decision or not for Obey while they were on attack, that is the sort of thing that is basically, it's a stopgap. It's forced coordination. You know, it's, we're going to spawn at the same place, so we're going to start from the same place, so we're going to be together more often than not. And that plays in exactly what you're talking about. More importantly, it, you know, did allow Obey to get 2 rounds. The fact that they weren't getting spawn peaked in those final 2 was why they were able to recover it. That and the TK, but What a weird match.
What a weird match is a very good way of calling this.
Yeah.
If we need an actual name here for it, but
Attackers recover.
Yardy back on this Twitch. As you noted, he was the one that was able to get the ace with the F2 and then pick up 2 kills shortly after. A nice go-for charm here for Yardy. Of
First
course,
place, bro.
a lot of strength, of course, go-for champs, and I think that's worth noting here.
Yeah.
Yardy looking to repel in, but there is presence from Obey inside of admin. But they'll fall off. It was Skies who was playing with the cloaking device. On he'll depart from the safety of those cubicles. Meanwhile, Cloudstruck solo entering downstairs. The Jackal has already used one of those Jackal tracks, which is just trying to figure out exactly where the defenders are. That'll be particularly useful against a team that has been as on the move as Obey has so far.
Yeah, Sky's going to be detected. He'll move downstairs. Could potentially get a flank here on Cloud if he's not looking the right way at the right time, but it looks like Cloud is aware of this. No, bad timing from Cloud. We've been seeing a lot of this from Strength, just really poor timing. Skies is going to see the Jackal, but lose the fight. Perfect peek there. Now, Jackal lost some HP, but only 1 bullet's worth. So not a huge loss, and Strength managed to shut down that roamer. This is quite possibly the slowest Strength attack we've ever seen.
I mean, they know that they're staring at, right now, a possible match point here for Obey, and they've come so close. Very, very close. They did so on Oregon. They were 1 round away. See aggression here from a man on rappel as he just has the magazine to just absolutely mag dump into the window and keep Strength away from getting in. Cloud taking some damage earlier on in that battle against Skies. Yardy, who'd been finished, or who had been started, will now get finished off. And that will be probably the best weapon for Strength on attack, will be silenced. And one of their better players as well.
Yardy looked like he was finding the opportunity. My man's still shutting down this bathroom window. Cloudstruck gets Bosco. Adam able to respond. But Strength still in a good position here, especially as Cloudstruck and Adam trade. Interesting turn of events. My man continuing to delay Odd, who's repelling on that bathroom window. But you can see the Blackbeard has managed to work his way into Connector, which could easily kill this bathroom player. The other defender, nowhere to be seen right now, probably anchoring. This is a middle floor defense, and Odd will finally shut down my man following the flashbang of his teammate. No C4 for Benji. So he's going to have to win this on pure gun skill alone, or timing potentially as we come down to the last 10 seconds. Information being called out here. The drop is a little too early for Benji, and he's just going to fall back to bathroom. All he needs to do is wait and deny the defuse plant. Odd goes down, and you can see Swerve is planting. But on the 0-0-0, Benji's going to have time to move out. He misses his shots. This is a bad situation. Information abundant, though, for Benji, and he will miss the shot on the final peak. Swerve takes it. 4-4.
To be fair, he hit the shot.
There's a Blackbeard shield.
Put right into the rifle shield, it looked like. It's
quite
not showing any damage there in the replay, but it certainly seemed like they had that shot at head level, which is fine. Benji getting the call a little late, even though there was some form of observation tool for the defenders that were up there pinging away, obviously not noticing that the plant was going down.
I am a little surprised there by how Benji chose to play that, to be honest. I feel like he could have played a little bit less safe. You know, he had the information, like you said, the marks were coming down, which means that his teammates would have been able to call the push on 1 second, or 2 seconds even, because he was still deep in bathroom. Not deep in bathroom. He was in bathroom. He could have been in the hallway and still not exposed to the Blackbeard on the final second. If he had just pushed there, he would have had time to kill Blackbeard as he's planting the diffuser. It was a nice try, but poorly calculated, unfortunately, for Obey. And yeah, no, the rifle shield against a Vector, pretty hard to lose that.
Rough. Yeah. And especially that timing for Benji. I mean, the Vector could have been able to tear through both of them as they dropped. He was off by just a second.
Yeah.
Right? Just a second. That timing. And so much of this is exactly timing.
Yeah, I think that is a big thing. A lot of the rounds Strength have lost, as an example, have been because of timing. It's the same, I mean, it's the same thing for Obey. Benji not only had bad timing on the drop, but also bad timing on the diffuser. There's so many things that keep going wrong for both teams in terms of that one specific.
I mean, speculation is just speculation, but it did look like Benji started to push out, and then he got a call to hold, which is why he went back in the bathroom. It certainly looked like that. It looked like Benji's instinct was to push the Blackbeard, knowing that the clock was about to run out. And if you know, if Zofia wasn't holding the possible diffuser, then the call could be, wait.
Yeah.
Benji retreats. You don't know if the Blackbeard is holding the diffuser. Diffuser starts to go down, and by the time Benji is able to lumber over there as the 3 armor, doesn't get there quite in time.
I mean, if that call was made, then oh boy. That's, we talked about tilters. That's one of them.
Oh, that's a tilter.
Oh, that's a tilter.
Oh, that's a tilter there.
All right, so Strength, so close to pushing us to map 3, but Obey at the same time, just as close to getting us all the way. Look at this commitment. Look at the utility being used just to push a bandit off of the garage wall. And, I mean, it worked in the end, but wow, you don't usually see a team just dump a Candela in there without... I mean, they checked it with a flashbang first, just in case there was an ADS. There wasn't.
And they only open up the middle panel, which means it's going to be even more difficult to take out panels 1 or 3 now.
I mean, they're probably not going to. I guess they're trying to play as efficiently, as quickly as possible.
That would be my guess as well. Go for the throat, which is what you're going to have Merc do with those Candela flashes going off.
That mirror window that Bosco's playing on is going to be so important. What are you doing? You only open middle panel if your plan is to not open the other panels. If you want to open panel 1 and 3, then open panel 1 and 3. If you want to open 2, then just open 2. Either way, that's Benji playing up on that top, or middle floor rather, in piano, waiting for more kills. And you could see that Strength is just kind of not sure what they're going to do now that they have to deal with that player in piano.
Just waiting for this to come.
What are you doing?
There's another from Benji on the Cloudstruck. This mirror just being able to exist above, completely uncontested whatsoever. Candelas will meet the toxic canisters, which will at least stop Strength from being able to take advantage of that gadget. Adam is now tasked with pushing up. Plant going down by Black Car. It's successful. Yardi trying to cover. Merc goes down. And on the belly, Adam just narrowly sees the Ash. Oh no, Adam, that was a readable situation. Diffuse going down, but Benji's there for the clutch. Can Benji outduel the Blackbeard this time? He pulls out the shotgun, but that is a weak weapon at that range. He's gonna need to take some time to unload the Vector. Flashbacks here as the C4 goes out. It will hit the Blackbeard! Benji with the fadeaway, and it will be match point for Obey. There will be no repeat this time. 5 rounds for Obey Alliance.
What just happened? The basement attack. What is that? They lost 2 players, and then they pushed in and planted. That's crazy. How are they allowed to plant? The basement defense. They got 2 players up early, but failed to deny the defuse plant. Then almost lost the round. If it weren't for a well-placed C4 from Benji, they certainly would have. Just absolute insanity. Pandemonium on that garage push. And it could have gone either way, man. And, it comes back to just dumb luck on that timing. It really does. So confusing. But... this is these are the sort of situations that make you question what you know.
I got a couple questions. I'll be honest with you. But you got to give so much credit to Strength here for being able to come out on top on so many engagements, so many altercations between these two teams. And it works. It works so well, Michael. It's just completely shutting Obey down.
And, I mean, Obey's still winning, but...
They can't... Strength just can't be stopped right now. Not at all. They cannot be stopped.
They're losing.
And I mean, they're losing right now. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this is a huge victory for a team that I think a lot of people wrote off coming into this.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people who are very familiar with Obey would say, of course Obey's going to win. Not quite as certain as you thought.
My guy, going into today, you have 2 matches, Obey, Strength, Mouse Flawless, and I don't know... Almost everybody's looking at these matches and saying, should be Obey Mouse. Should be Obey Mouse. Probably 2-0 both. But we want to know what a team can do, what they're capable of. And what Strength is showing us here is that they're capable. And as much as their mentality, as much as the way that they play is very weird, it's far from normal. It's interesting, and it kind of works. Sorta.
You got to imagine we're going to see overtime here. I mean, you take a look at the first matchup. It was Obey who needed to force overtime. They did it in the clutch. A big round for them, as you saw. Strength just had no chance on Laundry. They never won the site.
Bomb has been located.
That's a problem for them.
Yeah.
With Obey now on defense going up to console office, they won this site. They won it last time they played. It was locked on full rotation until now we get to this point. So, hey, this bodes well for Obey. Strength will need to overcome the fact that they haven't had success on this site.
They certainly could, though. They have the right tools for the job, and they've already taken control over the admin office. It's a good push. They will open up that hole into the A site from long desk. Looks like Merc's trying to get out of the... I'm not sure what he's trying to do.
I don't think Merc realizes that you can't vault out that window. Oh, and he's going to get downed. Odd is going to try to pick him up. Sky's just narrowly missing. You know he's unhappy about that one. It just grazes Merc, but that's enough to drop the Ash. Cloud also losing a bunch of HP, and it's been 90 seconds. Deceptive how fast we've gotten into this round, but it's all going in Obey's favor.
Yeah. No A-site control right now for Obey. They also don't have Sky's C4 anymore, so it's going to be a lot of pressure on Bosco and Benji using that anti-plant. Almost a TK. Merc will do the job, though, taking out Benji. It's a lot of damage from the gas canisters, but the smokes from Cloudstruck on the window are going to do a lot here. Adam's in a good flanking position. He could end this round right now. He's going to... No! He misses the shot onto Swerve! That's a huge failure for the flanking Adam. The diffuser goes down. Bosco will take out Merc, though. So still in this match. Swerve able to get Skies, and Yardi takes down my man. It's all Bosco in the 1 versus 4, but he can't go any further. And Strength pushes to overtime.
Well, this is strange. I feel like we've seen this before.
Have we?
We got more between these two teams, which I'm delighted for.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm having a ball.
You know what we need, though, right now is for Strength to win in overtime and bring us to map 3. I want to see... Anyway, I want to see how Coastline's going to play out, man. I need to see that map. I gotta. Because the way that these teams are playing, I feel like Coastline is their playground. That is exactly where they want to be right now. Anyway, that last round, that last round was really interesting. I feel like you can attribute a lot of that to individual failings and successes, such as Merc pushing in through the A site. He managed to get the opening salvo off and get those entry frags. After he did that, the flank from Adam being shut down, oh my, that was huge. He had the opportunity to get 3 kills there, and he couldn't even get 1. And from that, Obey did not have the power to retake after the diffuser had been planted. Another thing of really important for me, Strength are so focused on planting that diffuser, above and beyond what other teams tend to commit to playing the objective. Remember that diffuse plant they got in the garage? They were throwing their bodies at that attack. They were
just tossing them.
Hey, pay attention to me while my teammate plants the diffuser. And the person playing the diffuser doesn't care about his life, doesn't care about the people 5 feet away from him. He just wants to plant the diffuser. That's how Strength plays. And it is crazy. One thing that I absolutely love about it, one thing it's my favorite thing about how Strength plays.
5 seconds remaining.
It means that they have a lot of coordination. When you have a situation, one person's playing the diffuser with enemies like 3 feet away from them, that means they trust, unto the death, they trust their teammates to cover for them. That is huge. Most teams, professional teams, struggle to build up that trust. And that is the true strength of Strength. And I don't mean to say it like that, but I can't avoid it. It really is cool to see. We'll see if it's able to get them a 3rd map here as they attempt to attack the basement.
No bandit juggling from Obey. They will concede that garage panel, and make no mistake about it, you're going to see Obey fall back quite heavily. Strength will get panels 1 and 3, so they will not bother to go for that middle panel, which was largely their undoing as well. It won't have Benji playing from above, just able to pick away at them. So both panels open. This is good timing, but the Hibana, who's trying to open things up onto the mirror windows of Odd, you can hear all those X-Karos getting picked away, but no, one of them will go off. It's a possibility that they could have just lost the mirror window there. Yes, indeed, they did. You can see it. It is clear. So Bosco will now be forced to rotate as Odd gets the drone in. It's taking a minute. My man trying to distract from above, shooting out those console office windows. Sky's getting kills number 1. He's going to drop back to White Van and Merc. So long, see ya, farewell, Sledge gone.
You can see my man still looking for his run out. Sky's playing back of white. He's got two teammates right next to him, shoulder to shoulder. They are holding firm to this garage push. There was an opportunity earlier in the round when Strength had just opened the garage to potentially plant the diffuser. There was no one with C4 or gas canisters in a position to deny them, but that opportunity has passed.
So still just waiting above. Strength seem a little bit lost. They're all clogged up there at the doorway. Sky's looking for a second kill, just tossing bullets in, rocking that new Pentaskin, which is available now for those curious on Legion. It was released yesterday or the day before. A whole bunch of smokes going out here too. Cloud taking a ton of damage. He's in the midst of the smoke, down from a man. The carbine just rattles onward. Benji now tagged in, and Sky's still waiting. That's a kill from Benji too. One body seen pushing up on the yellow stairs. That information will go up to my man. The carbine just narrowly missing one. Thatcher's going to push in. He's going to see the Hibana. Goes for bullet pen through the piano, but he's dead meat. Odd and Swerve will walk away from that successfully. Oh. Swerve from above. You see Skies. There you go. Skies eliminating Odd, but your teammate has your back. This coordination, Michael, you mentioned, is going in spades. But Obey still has quite a significant numbers advantage. 3v1. With Swerve needing to get back to site. He does not hold that diffuser, and that will be his most challenging task, as he's going to have to go through the back access of these sites here and swim through barbed wire, a possible C4. He's going to get spotted on the camera, and this is almost all but over if Swerve can pull out a miracle here. He'll push in through the double doors all the way towards pipe, but he's got 6 seconds to grab a diffuser. That might as well be an entire city block away. Bosco will finish that one off, and Obey will once again go back to match point.
Wow. So that was one of the least invigorating rounds we've seen on the attack from Strength. They, like I said, they opened up that garage. They got panels 1 and 3. They could have just planted the diffuser for a solid 30 seconds. They had an opportunity there, and they let it slip away. They hesitated. We haven't seen that very often from Strength. It has happened. We've had a couple Strength rounds where they slow it down. You know, they start calculating a little bit more, start thinking about their actions, and it has tripped them out, or tripped them up quite a lot. I would have loved to have seen them just go for the diffuse plant, see what happens, because that seems to be the environment in which they thrive. But if you allow Obey to set you at their pace, you're going to have a bad time.
Could this be the final round that we see here, Michael? As Strength goes back to defense, they'll go upstairs to console office. Strength only played it one time. They won.
Yeah.
But diffuser did go down. So Obey was able to get a successful plant off. Strength rebuffed them, then were able to defuse as well. That was, if you recall correctly, the calamity where we saw Strength just go full send out the console office windows. They all just went for broke. Jumping out, and a smart play overall, because Sky's literally weighed down by the bodies falling on top of him. Could not repel amidst that current, like a sailor trying to swim up current. For spawn, yeah, he didn't get there. Not quite. Diffuser went in the way of Strength's favor. So, are we going to see shenanigans from Strength again here? The tempo of the game has changed a little bit since then, as you noted. It's definitely something that Obey is playing much better under, but you got Strength's back against the walls.
Yeah. I think Strength needs to focus on not relenting, keeping that pressure up if they want to bring this back, if they want that map number 3. Though, it does not look like that's their prerogative right now. Focusing on anchoring hard on the site. They have the right setup. They're playing standard meta. The mirror windows, the castle barricades. A lot of pressure being applied to the east side of the building on the top floor. Looks like Obey's going to be focusing on a B side take once more. They did this the last time. It did not work. Narrowly did, almost pulled it off, but it just not in the end. So they're going to have to change something about this attack strategy. The Capital being a huge part of this. My man, if he dies to Yardi, who's peeking this window, then yeah, it'll be a really difficult attack for Obey.
As we've seen almost a half dozen times in this particular matchup, Yardi seemingly being my man's kryptonite. Super effective every single time around. Boding well for Obey. You've got a very strong killing machine in the hands of Skies. The one, the only, Alex himself, playing above with the F2. But he's got some reinforcements there that will at least keep some of that team alive. The ping's coming out for Yardi. He'll get shot from below. This is good coordination here. Yeah. And if they can take Yardi out, Sky's just missing his head. They'll throw down the asphyxiating bolt. but it looks like it will miss. Yardi is just going to continue to exist, but there you go. Bosco, Dylan Bosco from below, 90 seconds in, first kill.
But so much utility used to take care of that B player. Yardi did a great job there. He honestly shouldn't have been there in the first place, but he did a great job being there. And there was actually some team damage done there. Because the firebolt missed, it did damage to Skies playing on the skylight.
Unfortunate. You've got Odd down below. Once again, he was playing before. If you recall, down by that garage, possibly go for a run out, try to get the clay pigeons that are on the console office wall, but oh no. Odd could be able to get away with this. Bosco getting off. Oh, Bosco the read! There you go. Obey will shut it down. Swerve, Cloudstruck, and Merc. The only 3 remaining. You'll hear the telltale signs of the UMP as Benji will be able to win that one, and it looks like everything going in favor of Obey. Strength trying their best here, but it doesn't look like it will be enough. Still a winnable prospect, but with Cloudstruck falling and Merc needing to 1v5 clutch. Can we see it? 60 hertz, Merc? No, Bosco will get the final kill. He got the opening kill as well, and that will be it. Luck will run out for Strength, and Obey will advance onwards in the US Nationals with a goal, getting a land spot in mind.
That's the sort of match that makes you think to yourself, yeah, they lost. But well done to Strength. Seriously, well done. Just the oddest, strangest sort of doctrine, strategy, whatever you want to call it, that I've seen in a while from Strength, but they did put up a heck of a fight against Obey. They made them go to overtime on 2 different occasions. Not making it to the 3rd map, but still, that is admirable.
It was a really good attempt.
Yes.
From Strength, and I think it's one of the best showings that we've seen of a team that we didn't necessarily have the most read on. And I mean, yeah, I think you can speculate, does that playstyle translate well to future matches? Is it something that if you have more data on them, is it easier to counter-strat? Very difficult to counter-strat a team that doesn't really seem to be running with full-fledged strats, mind you. Does it stack up well against Obey? Those are questions that we might be able to answer in the wildcard matches, but that's it for Strength. They're all done through this stage.
I will say, though, Obey seemed to figure out how Strength was playing on the fourth round. It was 3-0, Strength were up. They were looking good, feeling good, I'm sure. And then suddenly Obey, gear shift, they're on attack, they started playing super slow. They got in the building, they established their positions, but then they just were waiting for it. They were waiting for the late flanks. They were waiting for the pushes up yellow stairs. They were waiting for their opponent to get aggressive. And one by one, Strength started dying. Because they were doing the same thing. They were still just pushing. And it is hard to counter-strat that, but it works out in the end if you could figure out the general idea of it.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw that Luck really did run out there. And it was also a little bit that Strength eased up on that, that high-octane style of play. They definitely looked like they had to back off. And as you said, when Obey found that extra gear and they took control, Strength definitely seemed like they were pushed back on their heels. Now, mind you, they did get that one pivotal final round to throw us to overtime, but it was really all they were able to accomplish, because before that they only had 1 win over the entire half. They were, boxed out in overtime, and Obey, in a very scary prospect for them of possibly finding their trip coming to an end here in Stage 3 very early on, they persevered.
Yeah, and Obey's been getting shut out time and time again. We talked about it earlier. This is now, I believe, their 3rd attempt, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, no matter the case, finally managing to get past Strength. It was a close match, and it was a 2-0 as well, as I think most people expected. But you can't say that was a lockout. You cannot say that was a lockout.
No, not even close. That shades of the Obey Rogue matchup that we saw in Paris in particular, where it came down to the wire on both times on that final round, getting so close. 1 round, 2 rounds. This is Strength winning this 2-0. That's how on the razor's edge we were between these two teams.
And I feel like a lot of that is timing. I feel like a lot of that is experience as well. We had a couple rounds there where just certain Strength members were in the wrong position. A lot of the time when Strength was doing really weird stuff where they would just lose 2 people for free, when that would happen, doesn't necessarily cost them the round. It didn't necessarily cost them the round. More often than not, they would lose the round because they had somebody in the wrong position at the wrong time, or they would come off the angle at the worst possible moment. And there were a couple specific situations with Merc, for example. He was hitting his shots today. He really was. but he was a little impatient. And the fact that he kept coming off of angles, trying to adjust, move, ended up costing him a lot.
That's 60 hertz, Merc.
Is he actually playing on the 60 hertz monitor?
Get the man a monitor. I don't actually have any idea.
Where did that come from?
Get the man a monitor. If he doesn't have a monitor, get the man a monitor.
Yeah.
You might as well be playing on a typewriter with 60 hertz at that point. Like, come on.
I mean, to be honest, about 60 hertz is, you know, having a higher hertz does give you, I think, an advantage in terms of making the game play a lot smoother.
You think it does.
But it also doesn't change too much. As much as it makes the game so much smoother, you can work it with 60. I've seen people be absolutely crazy. I would never want to play on 60 hertz if I had the option. I play at 240. I don't want to play on 60, but you can make it work in competitive play. It's just really hard.
In his defense, humans can't see above, like, what, 22?
21. I heard it was 21.
Yes?
It was actually 21 or 21.5, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
That was a joke.
So many people are angry right now. So many people are like frothing at the mouth, just ready to just jump in and prove me wrong. It's a joke.
But
commendable if he is playing on 60 hertz, though.
If he actually is, yeah.
As for the rest of this team, there was a fair bit of depth on strength. When Yardy and Merc went down, there was still carry potential from the other members of the team. They were still able to do their job quite well. Now, naturally, the way that the team had constructed their defense and attacks, you're going to be throwing Yardy and Merc into positions where they're going to be walking away with the lion's share of frags. That's just the way it works out. Similar to the way we see Skies being able to do that, Adam to a certain extent being do that, Maman doing that. You're not really going to have Bosco and Benji being able to grab those kills on Obey. Overall, I would actually like to see Strength continue to progress. I hope that this just wasn't a team that was assembled with the sole purpose of this stage at U.S. Nationals. I'd like to see what they can do, possibly in other leagues, continuing here through USN as well, because I definitely think there is some potential for this team to possibly get one of those land spots, to possibly make a name with the way that we saw. Now, mind you, I do think it is appropriate to be critical of that playstyle and say, eventually, what you saw there, it's going to get figured out and you're going to get shut down quite swiftly. That's when you got to make the transition away from let's run around and peek everything to maybe let's not do that.
So the thing is, that playstyle, it's born of what you're practicing at the time, because everybody in North America used to play like that. And in Latin America, in their own contained sub-meta, there's still shades of that. And there's still shades of it in the North American meta, too. But when you get introduced to the international scene and you play against a lot slower metas like Europe, it starts to change the way that you play. And Obey are a much more experienced, much more, again, international team that have been playing against multiple regions for a long time. And because of that, they're a little bit more ingrained with the international meta, and they play the game in that way. And it does not work great against just unbridled chaos.
Interestingly enough, the most interesting of all of the regions in terms of aggression, Latin America, it still plays very differently from this because Latin America is usually a little bit more calculated with that droning. We didn't really see a lot of droning from Strength, to be completely honest. But
yeah,
anywho,
almost none.
Enjoy your interview.
Yep, I got an interview with Bosco, so we'll bring it up on your screen right now. Hey, Bosco, how's it going, man?
What's up, Kicks? Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Congratulations on your victory. It was a 2-0, but it was pretty close. I want to ask you a question. How did you deal with that absolutely insane aggression?
Yeah, I mean, they were very, very, very aggressive. We weren't really ready for that. We just keep telling ourselves, they're going to challenge you. They're going to challenge you. Be ready. That's pretty much all we did. Just try to stay focused. Keep our heads in the game despite the over-aggression.
It definitely seemed to work out for you guys. I noticed a lot more passive defensive strategies, especially on the basement, and while attacking the basement. Was that something that you guys consciously called, or did that just kind of passively fall into place as the match continued to play out?
Yeah, we noticed that they were trying a lot of rushes, so, later in the game we're like, all right, let's just chill on the site, be ready for the rush just in case it's coming, because they were attacking the site pretty fast, They'd have the wall open on Garage in 30 seconds. Yeah. Usually teams full clear the whole map. They didn't even bother.
Now, the fragging power seemed to be something that Strength was leaning on pretty heavily, but it's also something that your team is well known for having in abundance. Do you think that was one of the factors that allowed your team to persevere in this instance?
Yeah, I mean, everyone everyone on my team showed up and got their kills today. So that definitely helped us, and I think that's the reason why we were able to come out on top.
Now, in the beginning of the match, it seemed almost as if this sort of mentality kind of caught you guys off guard. Were you expecting it going up against Strength? Was this something that you knew as a known quantity, or was it just kind of a surprise?
I mean, we were expecting it, but not to like the degree that they hit us with it. You know, it was we didn't expect how aggressive they were going to be.
All right. Is there anything you want to say to your fans before we cut off the interview?
No, just thanks for all the support. I know, we're in a tough spot, but we appreciate the support.
All right. GG, Bosco, I'll catch you later.
Thank you. Thank you.
He looks shell-shocked.
I mean, I would be.
He looks like he just came back from his 3rd tour in Nam, and he's seen some stuff. He's seen some things, and you just can't unsee them. You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah, I would be too.
I
still am, actually. I'm a little bit taken aback by that whole match.
It's definitely one for the books, that's for sure, quite literally. But it's also definitely one for the books there in the way that these two teams played. I mean, he said it many, many times. You don't anticipate that style of play that they're going to bring. You don't anticipate the fact that, I like that he brought it up. Usually teams will full clear, or at least full drone, or have somebody doing that work. But instead, they just open up garage and say, we're just going to fight them once this garage is open.
Yeah, it was a really odd match. And there was a lack of droning from the attackers on Strength specifically. The meta was just totally off-key, totally random. So it was a weird one, but it's concluded now.
Well, unfortunately, this will be our only matchup for the day. Flawless GG, who were set to square off against Mouse Sports in our second match, a player emergency, and they are unable to play. It's bad timing for them. We wish them all the best in the wild card segment as we continue to move on here. Now, keep in mind, there's still plenty of chances to qualify for U.S. Nationals. So these teams need some opponents coming up. Make sure that you're going on all social media and heading to the website as well to see how you can participate in USN. And also don't forget that if you ever want to get in on the conversation on Twitter, you can do hashtag R6USN. Outside of that, that's it for us. We'll be back next Friday for some more exciting USN matches and see exactly what teams crop up and if we can possibly top this matchup.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you later.
Yeah, that's it for us. Take care.
Bomb diffuser. Attackers have located a bomb. 10 seconds left. 10 seconds remaining. Attackers have the bomb diffuser. The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped. 5 seconds remaining. Bomb. Attackers dropped the diffuser.